What's going on? Request up. Request up. I want to hear from you. I'm gonna go ahead and start letting people in. We do have the we have hit the 8,000 mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and start letting people in here. Oh, whoa.
Oh,
Okay,
should I switch? Oh, snap. What?
Is that God? Is that you?
No. That was just that. I accidentally flipped my. Do you want me to switch spots on the panel? Because Hawk's supposed to be here, right?
Yeah, you're fine. He's not here yet, so let's keep you
Okay,
there
yeah.
for the moment. Let's
Okay.
keep you there for the moment. We're waiting on Hawk. But we will go ahead and get everyone else in as we wait on Hawk.
Hey, so you know Felice, Santana?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so I literally texted her. I'm like, yo, if you want to learn something tonight, come to Santana's panel. So I'm like, yeah, she's great, but she's gonna be over here snooping now.
Okay, sounds good.
That's literally so she's part of the light skin clan, so that's why we stick together.
Okay. All right, guys. For everyone else, as we bring people up, and I'm sorry, it keeps jumping all around. That's why I'm trying to get people in here, and it keeps jumping around. Guys, at least for this first round, please make sure that you are part of one of three communities. Either you are someone that is a veteran, you are someone that is a part of the disabled community, or you are a Trump supporter. We still got a couple of spots left open. If you are interested in getting up onto the panel and having these conversations, please go ahead and request up. In the meantime, keep tapping the screen, sharing the live out, doing all the wonderful things to let the Tiki Talk know that we are here. And again, if you have not sent your daily heart me, please go ahead and send that. It's only one coin, and it helps boost the live. Doing all these other things helps boost the live and get us pushed out to the FYP, which we want to make sure that we do all these things. That way we can have these conversations. We are at 15,000 likes. Keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get it up to 25,000 likes. Also, just an FYI, guys. Just an FYI. One second here. Just an FYI. We are dual streaming right now. On, or I'm more than dual. Tri-screening, right, Chris? Is that how you said? Tri-screening?
I just say multi-stream. I don't know.
We are multi-streaming. We are streaming right now on Twitch, and we are streaming right now on YouTube. So if you're not following me on Twitch, if you're not following me on YouTube, please go ahead and do so. And for those people that are over on Twitch and YouTube, what up? I see you. What's happening, Sean? All right, guys, we are going to go around the panel and do a quick introduction, and we do still have a couple of spots open. Chris, I'm going to leave one spot open, so whenever Hawk does get here, I'll
Do you just
swap
want me
you
to
out
like
and-
drop and then go down like below, like literally right below?
No, because if someone else comes up, then they'll try to grab the spot, so I'll just keep you here for now. All right. So we're going to go around the panel and do a quick introduction. And once we get through the introduction, we will go ahead and get into the conversation. So I have a couple of questions for everyone on the panel. And again, if you are interested in actually joining the panel, please go ahead and do so. Chris, starting off with you. Same questions as last night. What are your pronouns? Which community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for your community over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Yes, pronouns he, him. I fall under the veteran category, and my expectations are pretty bleak, right? I'm going to see us going back in time to undo the work that Obama did to push the VA forward, and some pretty adverse action when it comes to barring certain people in the military. That's going to see like an increase in hate crimes in the military and just a reduction in our combat readiness.
Absolutely. That's something that's interesting. And again, I know you've been harping on that, and so I feel like there's a lot to that, and I want to get into it more. Perfect. Thank you. Nikki, how are you?
I'm good, love. How are you?
Good. Nikki, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for the community over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
My pronouns are she, her. I'm part of the disabled community, as is my son. So I'm a mom of that too. And my outlook's just getting bleaker as honestly as the days go by. I was hoping it'd get better, but it's just not. I'm seeing like the programs that they want to cut and the money that they want to cut or the restrictions that they're putting on things. I'm not seeing any lights at the end of any tunnels. I'm just seeing tunnels.
Yeah, no, listen, it's super interesting, and well, I will leave my my thoughts for the moment, but we'll get into it. Devil Dog, I'm gonna send you a request to come up. I would love to have you actually join the panel and give your perspective. You said it's gonna be great under Trump. I would love to have you up here. And also, I'm assuming since your name is Devil Dog that you are a Marine. So not only do you have a spot on this panel for a conversation because you are someone that supports Trump, but you also are someone that is a part of the military, so you are a veteran specifically. I would love for you to actually come up and join the conversation instead of actually talking in the chat. So I sent you a request, and hopefully you will join us and actually have a conversation. We do have some of your fellow service members on the panel, other military people, so please come on up. Christopher, how are you?
Hey Santana, how are you?
Good, good, good. Christopher, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for the community over the next 4 years?
So my pronouns are he, him. I belong to the disabled community, and my expectations for the next 4 years regarding my community is struggle, hurt, and I just know for a fact that a lot of the programs that the community relies on, which are social programs, are going to be severely hurt, and that's my biggest concern.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And that is definitely something that we want to get into. Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. John, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah.
Good, good, good. John, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for your community over the next 4 years?
He, him. I have learning disabilities, so the disabled community. I wasn't sure if that exactly counted at first. Like that was a genuine thing. But yeah, like ADHD, other like emotional disabilities. But for the next 4 years, Trump's already proved it with how he was making fun of that reporter. He's already proven it with how his base slings around the R slur and how they're so just quick to make fun of people with ableism and all that. And he just emboldens that. So it's just going to get worse. Not to mention the appealing the ACA with not having a plan in place. So people are going to be losing their meds and stuff because they're not going to be able to afford insurance. It's going to be hell on earth, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you brought up some really great points, and we're definitely going to get into that. Perfect. Thank you, John. Reasonable doubt. How are you this evening? Reasonable doubt. I'm going to send you a request to come off mute. Reasonable doubt, are you there? Reasonable doubt. Oh,
Yeah,
there you
I'm
go.
here.
Hey,
I'm here. My
hey,
bad.
reasonable doubt.
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn TikTok, man.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm a 20-year veteran, Air Force, retired 2016.
Okay.
Um, I'm 90% disabled.
Okay.
Let's see, what else? I'm a contractor.
Yep. What are your pronouns and what are your expectations for
He,
your
him.
community under the Trump administration for these next 4 years?
I'm he, him,
Mm-hmm.
but I am part of LGBT.
Mm-hmm.
I am married, so uh, it's kind of bleak. Like I said, I'm 90% disabled, and I
Mm-hmm.
was gonna go back and try to get my 100%, but
Mm-hmm.
I kind of paused that because of how things are going. So I I have kind of low expectations because I don't really understand how so many people that are supposedly intelligent can vote for a person with these policies and the things that he's saying and the movement that's going on. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, man. I have low expectation, very low.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's a lot of people that have that similar outlook, but hopefully, like I've been saying this whole time, community is the key. So we're going to get through it. Perfect. Thank you so much. Hey, Devil Dog, just an FYI, I don't see you in the request, but I still see you in the chat. So this is going to be my last time offering for you to come up. You can come up and join the conversation in the panel, but we're not going to allow you to continue to talk in the chat. So please join us on the panel. Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Sarah, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? Which community are you a part of? And what is your expectations for your community over the next 4 years in the Trump administration?
Um, my pronouns are she, her. I'm part of the disabled community, and I know it sounds weird, but I haven't really thought about it. Like, I haven't really thought about how the disabled community would be affected by Trump. So I'm just listening to everyone and getting more information.
Okay. All right. Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. Gina, how are you? Gina, are you there? Oh, Gina, I'm going to send you a request to come off mute. Guys, keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to up to 50,000 likes. Hey, Gina.
Hi, Santana. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, panel.
Gina,
Um,
what are your pronouns? Which community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for your community over the next 4 years?
I'm she, her, disabled, and my expectation for the next 4 years is I'm very concerned because I have multiple. I'm disabled, but I'm not a veteran. My daughter is, so I'm a mom of a military person
Mm-hmm.
that is now a veteran. And I depend on her. She depends on me. So I'm kind of dual.
Okay. All right.
And I'm very concerned for both of us, for the cuts that are coming,
Mm-hmm.
the just everything, the whole shebang.
Yeah, absolutely. That's completely reasonable, and I definitely understand that there's a lot of people that we're worried about as a whole. So I completely get it. Thank you so much. And last but not least, is it Deliri? I'm sorry, Deliri. How do you say your username? I just sent you a request to come off mute.
It looks like Delray Santana.
Delray. We'll go with Delray. Delray, can you hear me? I see it's Southern Fried. I got it. Delray, I'm going to send you a request to come off mute one more time. Are you there? Delray going once. Delray going twice. All right, I'm going to drop you down. You can request back up. Yeah, boy. What up, Ren?
What up, though?
Ren, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What community are you a part of? And what is your expectations for your community over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
She, her pronouns. I am a member of the disabled community. And also, my expectations are a lot of confusion, a lot of hurt, and a lot of just stress, honestly.
Yeah, I understand.
There's that. Okay.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Ren. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. But before we do, I just want to send a special shout out, right? So at times when I'm getting ready to bring people in on the panel and all this other stuff, sometimes I'll take a look and see who's watching and whatnot, things like that. And I just spotted someone super special that's watching the live. Guys, can we get some W's in the chat for Mama Santana? W's in the chat for Mama Jones. W's in the chat for Mama Jones. She is watching right now. What up, lady? Guys, panel. I say all the time my mom is watching. And since my mom is watching, I need everybody to be on their best behavior. With that being said, guys, I want to remind everyone of a couple of things to make sure that we're able to have these conversations. Excuse me. To make sure that we're able to have these conversations, please be mindful of the words that you're using. Make sure that we are using TikTok-friendly language such as pew pew, unalive, AB, mustache man, snot C, smex, things along those lines. Also, please make sure I'm sorry. Also, this is a safe and friendly community. What does that mean? That means we don't deal with any of the isms: racism, sexism, classism. We also don't do any of the phobias: homophobia, transphobia, none of it. And also, I wanted to take just a moment to call out something that was brought to my attention afterwards. And I just want to say this, and I want to make sure that it's said clearly and concisely, and then we just move on. Not only do we not do the isms and the ones that I named, but we don't do ableism, right? Not only in the chat, but on the panel. And I think it's really important for people to understand that their words really do matter and they can harm people. So, with that being said, if there is an instance of ableism, not only will it be called out in the chat, but it will be called out on the panel. We will actually course correct, and we will make sure that this is, like I said, a safe and friendly community. And I encourage everyone to hold everyone accountable. I say that knowing that I am not, I say it all the time, your old buddy Santana is not the sharpest spoon in the drawer. And so if there's ever a situation where something goes over my head, which it tends to do, if there's ever a situation that goes over my head and anyone spots that, no matter if you're on the panel or you're in the chat, call me out. Hold me accountable. Hold each other accountable. We will not have that in our community. All right? Just wanted to make sure I said that, and we will move forward. Speaking of the chat as well, though, just an FYI, please, chat, be mindful of using caps. Caps are for mods. Please make sure that we are not using caps because it will draw my attention away from the panel and on to the chat, and I want to make sure that we're able to have these conversations. Last but not least, guys, we are at 40,000 likes. Let's keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get this thing up to 50,000 likes, but not only hit that 50,000 likes mark, but go blow past it. Let's get it up to 75,000 likes. Let's get the shares up. The shares are at 105 shares. Let's get the shares up to 150 shares. You're good, Christopher. Let's get the shares up to 150 shares. Also, guys, we do have a daily donation goal of $250. So if you are enjoying the actual information, education, entertainment of Late Nights with Santana, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. You can actually hit my pay links, which is Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24. It is in the link tree in my bio and in the bottom corner of the page. With that being said, we are going to go ahead and get started. And I want to actually start with Ren. Ren.
Yes.
That caught me off guard for a second. Ren, I'm gonna actually come to you, and I'm gonna actually ask you to do some heavy lifting to start. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Ren. So, I know you are part of the disabled community, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand more than anyone how protections need to be put in place for the disabled community. Mm-hmm. With that being said, knowing that we have an administration that's coming into power that has shown that they have a lack of remorse, and let's be honest about it, they have an overall lack of remorse when it comes to humanitarian issues and the well-being of people. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts around the possibility of them eliminating or rolling back certain laws that protect disabled people when it comes to not only just every day, but in the workforce and things along those lines?
Well, if we're going to tell the truth and shame the devil, as they say, rolling back these policies is going to further marginalize disabled people. You have to consider that, and I cannot remember the exact year right now. I should know this, but I can't. But the ADA is not that old. Mm-hmm. It's not a super old thing of legislation. So hold on. I'm going to tell you ADA year. Okay. The ADA was enacted July 26th of 1990. Mm-hmm. So that is after I was born. And rolling back things like some of the provisions in the ADA, making it harder for people to be able to hold corporations and companies um, accountable. And this all, I don't think people realize just how much all these things play together. And what I mean by that is they want to eliminate a lot of things in the workforce as far as like unions and
Yep.
other work, the National Bureau of Labor. They want to eliminate so many of these things, and that's going to further affect disabled people because they're not going to be able to work as they should. And considering that the average, again, like I said yesterday, the average SSDI payment for somebody that's on social security disability insurance is about $1,550. How many people are going to end up once they start rolling back things and protections for civil rights protections? Because that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on, and you actually said something that really piqued my interest because thank you for the heart me. Something that was spoken about is how they do want to roll back the right to work protections as well, right? Basically busting up unions, in which we both know that while Trump was running and he did the whole Twitter space thing or whatever with Elon, they had a good laugh about being union busters. Can you speak to how that would impact certain or impact the actual disabled community when it comes to not being able to form unions and have those protections as well of unions?
Well, collective, unions, the benefit of unions is collective bargaining, right? And what that does is if you're a member of this union, regardless of your disability, regardless of what you have going on, you fall under that collective bargaining agreement. If you bust up the union, now you're going to get companies that are going to push back against things like, oh, you can't have that many days off. Oh, you can't do this. And you're going to see more disabled people honestly being let go. And it's not like there's going to be any repercussions to that because now you don't have the protections of that collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it's such a disappointing turn of events because as quiet as it's kept, part of the reason we've had a stronger middle class has been because of things like unions, because of that collective bargaining and making corporations pay their fair share. Who do you think are going to be some of the first people corporations let go of to save money? They're going to let go of the disabled people whose healthcare costs outpace the amount that's paid in, that they're paying in for these employer group contracts with insurance companies. Like nobody's considering all of these different things.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. No, I think that's interesting, and when I heard that, I was like, that's something that, like, it's interesting in the sense that Trump and Elon were so open when they spoke about it, but they were also speaking to it in a covert way, right? And so that's what really caught my attention. I want to kind of move around for a second, though. I want to come to Sarah, right? Sarah, I know you're young, right? And I'm not sure if you are fully in the workforce yet or not, but I know you are part of the disabled community. So, Sarah, can you speak to me about, I guess, any challenges you may already see when joining the workforce, and what do you think that would look like? Because I think you're in an interesting position being a younger person where you're not only looking at these possible. Thank you for the sub. You're in an interesting position where not only are you someone that's going to deal with possible rollbacks that affects the disabled community, but you are a woman, and there's already been restrictions put on your reproductive rights, and there's you're in multiple marginalized groups. You hit a wide range of people. So what are your thoughts on possibly having another uphill battle when it comes to additional rights. Oh, Sarah, are you there? Oh,
I'm
there you go.
sorry. Sorry. Uh, it's just gonna be a fight for everyone, for um women's rights, for disabilities. It's just, I think that people after a couple of years are going to get really tired of it, and it's going to, you're going to see, maybe you'll see a couple of Trump supporters kind of have that mentality where they start fighting the good fight with us,
Mm-hmm.
because they see that it's affecting them and it's affecting their community and their family. So, I think most Trump supporters definitely don't understand what's at risk, and I think once it affects them, then we'll have a bigger fight on our hands.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I definitely agree with you in the sense that it's super interesting. A lot of people don't really worry about things until it comes to their doorstep, right? It's not really that important to them until it's something that actually affects them, and that's again something or reason why I wanted to come to you, because again I know that there's multiple things that's going to be right at your doorstep as a young woman here in this country. Perfect, perfect. I kind of want to go over now to reasonable doubt, because reasonable doubt, you said something that's interesting, and then I want to loop this around back into the veterans perspective. So you are 90% disabled, but
Yeah.
you are a veteran as well. So not only is there an actual attack on your ability to um, continue to make a living for yourself, while, because I'm assuming that you still have to work somewhat, right? Am I off base with that, since you claim 90% disability instead of 100%?
Yeah, I still work.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
So what does that look like for you, knowing that you actually served in the United States military, and you're possibly gonna lose protections to work outside of the military, while at the same time benefits that you earned from being in the military are threatened as well?
Well, for me, I am a contractor,
Mm-hmm.
so I do have that pay, but at the same time, I do have a lot of people that I do know that I was encouraging to go back and get you know, get their disability and things of that nature, because they served and they are hurt and they have issues and things of that nature. So now it's kind of like, how do I encourage them to do that, knowing that this is kind of an unknown thing? I don't even know if I'm gonna have my benefits. That's
Yep.
the reason I kind of like sat back a little bit. Say, if I go back and try to get that last 10%, is that gonna knock me down because of how things are going? So I'm mainly concerned for not just myself, but others that I do know that actually really, really need it. Um, it's just a scary time, man. You know, it's hard to encourage people to tell them to go back and do something and have them be disappointed or even lose the benefits that they have.
Right. Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And I think more than anything, and I talk about this, or we talked about it last night, but it's really mind blowing to me the fact that you actually went about serving your country and protecting your country and thinking that you're earning all of these things. But at the same time, after you give your body for the country, that then they turn around and say, well, you earned all of these things, but we're going to take them away from you. And that's something that really bothers me. Hey, Sarah. Hey, I'm gonna drop you down, but you can request back up. I want to get one of the Trump supporter in here. Okay.
Can I throw
Yeah.
one more thing out there real quick?
Yeah, go right ahead.
It's actually more than that, because you know I have a son, I have a daughter, and with this administration, it's a lot going on with it. I mean, my son's 25, he'll be 25 this year. He may be looking at buying a house and, you know, furthering his life. It's a lot going on, that's bigger than me. Yeah, I live okay, but it's bigger than me, the things that are going on. So that's my main concern about how and where things are going, these next 4 years. 4 years of your life under administration that's not going to really help people can really tell a big part of your life. 4 years, if you went 4 years without, let's say veterans benefits or able to buy a house or, disability benefits, all that kind of stuff, that can derail your life and can set you back, 5, 10 years,
Hmm.
you know? So my concern is it's bigger than me. It's not just me.
Yeah, no, listen, that's something that I appreciate when it comes to anyone who, and I'm just going to say it, call it how it is, anyone that didn't vote for Trump, right? People that don't support Donald Trump tend to often say, I voted for this person or that person or these group of people. A lot less than they say I voted for myself. And that's kind of what I said at the beginning, reasonable doubt. Like it's going to be about community, especially over these next 4 years. It's going to be really tough, and that's why we need to actually be here together and build that actual community. So you're absolutely right.
And I'm throwing this out there. I don't mind being dropped down to bring someone else up.
Okay,
So
well, and that's what I was about to say. But you can request back up, and Chris, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop you as well because Hawk's here, and then you request back up in the other spot. All right.
Hey, Santana, not to interrupt. I was going to say I have to leave. I'm going to be leaving work soon, so I'm going to have to get off anyway. If you wanted to replace me with one of the people you just dropped, because I know you're going to loop it back into military stuff anyway. So
Okay. Well,
if you wanted to drop me and bring them up.
this is what we'll do. I'm going to drop you reasonable doubt. This is what we're going to do because there's other people that are looking to cycle in, but I wanted to give you an opportunities on the panel as well. So I'll come to you next instead of going where I was going, and we'll hear from you. And then because there's a lot of people requesting up, and I want to make sure I get people in as well.
Okay.
So John, I would like to kind of take a step back and go back to where we just were when it came to the actual thoughts behind the rights to work, right? And making sure that you have the ability to actually make a living for yourself. What do you like? What are your thoughts behind the fact that the Trump administration is willing to roll back those protections and even more so, demand people that the return to work when we know for a fact that it's been super beneficial for certain people with disabilities to actually work from home?
Oh, it's gonna, you're gonna see a lot more people, put further and further into poverty that can't go, that can't go back to work. You have people that are in, wheelchairs that don't, a lot of the problems right now of like physically disabled people don't have a lot of wheelchair access. That's a huge problem. So, you have people that are, physically disabled that are being forced to go back to work on location. And they're not, a lot of these places don't have that, that access, easy access. So that's going to be an issue. A lot of people can't drive. So, a lot of these locations are further out. You have people with like social or anxiety issues, learning disabilities like I do, and that's going to make it harder for them to work in a group setting. There's a lot of different issues. I live in Florida, where there's a right to work state. So you have states like that have no worker protections essentially, and because it's going to be left up to the states and getting rid of federal protections, it's going to be a huge issue there as well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think that's the problem. Like, that's one of the issues that I have when people say, send stuff back to the states and states' rights and things like that. Not all states protect their people equally or take care of their people equally, and you see, and I hate to say it like this, but red states tend to not actually do the right thing by their people.
Oh, You're 1,000% correct. Growing up in New Jersey, my first job was a union job at a grocery store, called ShopRite when I was like 15. And, even if, people like to crap on unions, and even when you run into even in right to work states where they don't really have unions, a lot of the benefits you have, like paid vacation and time off and sick pay and all that, you have unions over the years to thank for that, all that stuff. So without unions, you wouldn't have a lot of the protections and rights that you have, even if you're in a red state.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And red states tend not to have unions. And again, going back to the whole thought process behind, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they believe in being union busters. So anyway, John, thank you so much for coming up. If you are free anymore this evening, feel free to request back up.
I appreciate it, Santana. You're awesome.
You as well. Thank you. All right. So this is what we're going to do, because we're going to level set for a moment, because we have new people on the panel, and we got my co-host on the panel. What up, Hawk?
What's going on, man? My apologies for my tardiness. My schedule got off this evening.
You are good. You are good. I promise you, you're all good. We're just getting rolling. All right. So, guys, just to kind of level set, we are at 62,000 likes. Let's keep tapping the screen. Share the live out. Let's go ahead and get the shares up to 200 shares. Let's get the likes up to 100,000 likes. We do have our daily gift goal, which is the Tiny Dinies, RAR. And we also have our daily donation goal of $250. So guys, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all of my pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. So if you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And please don't forget to take care of my co-host Hawk while he's up here, because he's up here not only all night tonight with me, but he was here last night. He'll be here tomorrow. He's going to be having these conversations with me. So let's make sure that we're taking care of him while he's on the panel. With that being said, mods, can we go ahead and start running Hawk's pay links in the poll so people can actually be able to grab the pay links? Perfect. All right. So we have Hawk on the panel. We also have Iman, and we have Neil. All are new. So I'm going to start with Hawk. And Hawk, can you tell the people, what are your pronouns? What community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for that community over the next 4 years?
He, him, African American, and I'm also a veteran, and expectations are low. I don't expect this particular administration to do anything for any marginalized group, and they've already proven that they want to go after veterans, veterans benefits and the like. So I have very low expectations for this administration.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Iman, how are you?
How you doing, brother?
Good. Can you tell the people, what are your pronouns? What community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for your community under the Trump administration over the next 4 years?
My pronouns are he, him. The community I come from is the military community, both I'm veteran and currently serving. And my expectations for both is survival. It's going to lean on leadership to do their best to make sure that they're junior enlisted and people that work for them are able to weather this 4-year storm of nonsense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Perfect. Thank you so much. And Neil, how are you this evening, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, sir.
Good. Neil, so I know you and I have spoke on Sparring with Santana, and we've also come across each other on other panels. So I want to make sure that I level set with you specifically. So this is not sparring, right? This is not a one-on-one debate. This is a panel discussion, and your voice is more than welcome. As a matter of fact, to call this out specifically, and I'll let Neil do his own introduction, but I do know that Neil is a Trump supporter. So if there is anyone else that is a Trump supporter and you would like to actually join the conversation, please go ahead and request up. you have an opportunity to actually speak, and you will have a voice here. So, Neil, yeah, these aren't actual debates. These are, overarching conversations, and I would love to have your perspective and your opinion, especially when we talk about these marginalized communities that are going to be affected under the Trump administration. I would like to have your perspective on not only what they're saying, but what you think the Trump administration will do to benefit them. With that being said, Neil, can you tell the people, same three questions I've had for everybody. What are your pronouns? Are you a part of either community, either the vets or disabled community? And what is your expectations for these communities under the Trump administration for the next 4 years?
So I don't have pronouns. I don't play that game.
You do understand that pronouns is just
Yeah,
language,
no, I
right?
don't.
And
I don't
you
answer.
also understand that in the sentence that you use pronouns,
Let's
right?
just skip that part. All right. So I have high expectations
Hey, Neil.
for all of what Trump is going to do.
Hey, Neil. If
Yes.
I didn't know who you were,
Okay.
and someone said the guy in the red shirt, you were wearing a red shirt, you walked outside, what would I say to the person if they say, did you see where the guy in the red shirt went? What would I say?
I just told you I don't play that game. So we could just skip that little portion.
Neil,
It's
it's
fine.
But we can
it's
tell he's not
it's a
military
simple
because he
question.
can't follow rules.
It's a
Yeah,
simple
we don't.
question.
I don't do the pronoun thing, man.
Neil, it's a simple question.
Yeah. I'm not a veteran. I
No,
answered the other
Neil,
question.
Neil, seriously. I mean, if you want to be on the panel, I'm going to ask you that you please engage. Like, I mean,
Yeah, no,
you
I have
don't
no
have to
problem
say,
engaging.
you don't have to say,
Yeah.
oh, these are my pronouns, but I asked you a simple question.
Whatever you want it to be. How about that? Whatever anybody wants to address me as.
Okay.
I want everyone to feel included and no one to feel marginalized, so they can call me whatever they need to call me.
Okay. Perfectly fine, Neil. Neil, are you a part of either the veteran or disabled community?
No, I'm not a veteran.
Are you disabled?
No, sir.
Okay, perfect. What are your expectations for the veteran and disabled community under the Trump administration for these next 4 years?
I have high expectations for all communities under Trump.
Okay, can you explain why?
You didn't ask anybody else to explain why.
Yeah, it's
We
because
got to finish
everyone else
introducing the
spoke a
panel,
little
right?
bit more. Hey, Neil, I'm sorry. Seriously, I'm not interested in playing any games.
I'm
If
not, I'm
you
not
want,
playing games either.
right? Everyone else actually expanded on their answer. They didn't just say, except Hawk, which he's my co-host. He was here last night, but everyone else actually gave details behind why they think what they think. Neil, if you don't want to engage, I mean, I appreciate you coming. I can drop you down, but I would really like for you to stay. But I need you to actually engage.
Well, I want you to introduce everybody else. Then we can start debating or talking.
We've
however you want to do it.
introduced everyone else, Neil. You're the last person to actually be introduced. So, Neil, you said you have high expectations for not only the veteran and disabled community under the Trump administration, but all communities. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you have that expectation?
Because he's for the people, the American people.
Okay. All right. So you think that Trump is for the American people, so you feel like everyone's going to do well. Perfect. Thank you, Neil. All right. With that being said, let's wrap back around. We were going through the conversation. I was talking to Reasonable Doubt, and we were just actually hitting the intersection of both being a person that is disabled and also a veteran. With that being said, Chris, I want to come to you. And I would like to get more information from you specifically. And I'll let you pick. Either we can go, because there's two things that I'm really interested in, and that is the VA and how they're looking to privatize the VA. But we can also talk about the actual restrictions that they're putting on people as far as who can actually serve in the military. So, Chris, dealer's choice, which one?
I'll go with the second one just because we did a very in-depth and very productive one on the VA yesterday. I absolutely love that conversation. But I think for the viewers, they should be aware of, the dangers of what's in Agenda 47 and the statistical evidence that proves why this is a terrible claim. So, in page 15, section 4 of Agenda 47, right, it says that they want to get all woke left-wing Democrats fired as soon as possible. Now, we need to dissect this, right? There's only one definition of woke that the Republican Party actually used, Senator Tim Scott. and that's somebody that's aware of social injustices to include but not excluding racism, anti-Semitism, and sexism. So he's advocating to not only kick out 35% of the military, which is what the formula is for the amount of Democrats in the military, but he also wants to, kick out these woke people that people falsely equivocate to being like LGBTQIA and people that are quote unquote soft. There's no statistical evidence, right, anywhere that people of color, LGBTQIA, or women make the military weaker. In fact, there's all the evidence, RAND, NATO, and all these other things that says the more integration we have, the better military that we are. So the fact that this administration is stretching the fabrics of all the hard work that we've done, repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell of 2011, and the work that Truman did. He signed the first executive order making it mandatory to not be racist in the military. Then the civil rights movement followed suit. So we're going back in time, and this is dangerous because there's no evidence to support that all this integration makes our military worse.
Yeah, no, I think that's super interesting, right? When you talk about who is fit to serve, right? And it doesn't meet the threshold as far as this person is or is not actually fit to serve. But this person is someone that is kind of classified as unfit, not based off of anything of their own, but based off of strictly that they are, quote unquote woke, which always hits me as a weird thing because not a lot of people can actually define what woke is. Hey, Lainey.
Hello.
I'm over Lainey.
Hey, Ren.
Lainey,
Hey.
let's do a quick introduction of you while you're here. Lainey, can you tell
Hey,
the
all the
people?
I know.
Yeah. Can you tell the people what are your pronouns? Which community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for that community over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Well, I am, my pronouns are they and she, and I am an Army National Guard veteran, and I am also trans. So I am very concerned about what he's been saying about transgender service members, what he did last time, which is ban any new enlistment for anyone who has had a gender dysphoria diagnosis. And it also did create a lot. I've spoken to people who are trans who were in the service at the time, and it was a very not knowing what was going to happen. Anyone who was trans that was in the military but hadn't come out yet was basically forced to stay in the closet for the entirety of their enlistment, because if they were to come out after his executive orders that banned new enlistments, then they would be discharged. There was also a lot of fear about them attempting to find other reasons to discharge them if they were to be discovered to be trans. It was very similar to the Don't Ask, Don't Tell era in that way. And of course, like anyone who had previously gotten a gender dysphoria diagnosis would not be allowed to enlist, which harms enrollment, obviously. And right now, the rhetoric seems worse than last time. When he's talking about getting rid of these woke generals, he's also saying that people who are transgender do not belong in the military, things of that nature. He has said out of his own Cheeto hole. And so right now there's about 15,000 trans service members that are very worried about what's going to happen in the first week of his presidency, because it most likely will happen very quickly, as it did last time on his inauguration day. So there's right now 15,000 transgender service members who are senior enlisted personnel, or 75% of them are senior enlisted personnel with 12 to 21 years of experience, and with a ton of capital investment in their training thus far. So not only is it harmful to the trans community and to trans service members who, just as much as any other service member, took an oath to protect the Constitution, to defend the Constitution, and but it is going to be costly as well. It is just a waste of money to do this.
Yeah, no, it really is. And it's super interesting to me that the Trump campaign ran on fiscal responsibility, but at the same time are willing to take all of these quote unquote extreme actions and spend whatever money's needed to actually push their agenda for a lot of things that people aren't asking for. And so I want to come back to you for a second, Lainey, because you did serve in the military and also you were trans. And I guess just a simple question for you, right? Because I've always wondered this. I say this all the time. And again, let me stop and say, for everyone on the panel that is a veteran, thank you for your service. But I am not built for it. Like, I knew for a fact that I couldn't do that. I couldn't put my life on the line for my country, for other people, the way that you all did. But Lainey, I guess help me understand. Was there ever a conflict in your mind about you being trans versus you being in the service? Like, I don't understand where the conflict is.
Right. Well, no, I was not out at the time. I was in
Well,
service
yeah,
during the
but
Don't Ask, Don't Tell era.
Yeah.
But no, like there were people from all different backgrounds there. I served with men and women, and I was in a maintenance unit. I was a 63 Sierra, which is a heavy wheel vehicle mechanic, and was a wrecker operator. But there were people from various backgrounds. There were plenty of people who were in service to get help with schooling. There were people that were looking to eventually parlay into whatever career. So plenty of them that were there were also mechanics on their civilian side, or were working to become mechanics. And welders and machinists and all sorts of things. So they were getting, on the job training. But there were people who were Republican, there were people who were Democrat, there were people that were apolitical altogether. But everyone there were our brothers and sisters, right? Like, they were our siblings. We, what is it that, like, when you're in a unit with people, like, these are the people that, like, you are willing to put your life on the line for, and you have to trust that they would do the same for you. And it didn't matter where you came from or what your beliefs were. Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's something, again, that at least I understand, and I don't. That's why I have such a hard time with anyone saying that, oh, we need to get trans people out of the military, or oh, we need to get wokeness out of the military. I mean, like, there's a whole aspect to it. So Hawk, I want to come to you for a second, because Lainey spoke to the actual thought process as far as serving with people, brothers and sisters in arms, things like that. I would like to hear your perspective on the wokeness, right? Like, I know it's been a while since you were actually in the military, but I guess thinking back on your time, was that ever something that was spoken about, where it's like, oh, we need to root out this ideal of progression within the military, or anything like that? Or do you know how that came about?
No, in my opinion, it came about primarily because of Trump. Since his entrance into the scene is when they appropriated the word woke, because the word woke has been around since the turn of the last century, right? That's something from our community that we were basically, and I'm gonna use some military terminology for some folks too, we were basically telling each other to keep our head on a swivel, right? It's like, yes, there are people that are on our side that are trying to help us progress or whatever, but you can't trust everybody, so stay woke, keep your head on a swivel. That's where that came from, right? Back during the Harlem Renaissance, I believe it was. But no, to specifically answer your question, and I just thought about this as you were letting the words fall out of your mouth, I think I was in during the golden age, right?
Mm.
Which is really weird because it was like 30 some odd years removed from what Chris was talking about earlier when Truman integrated the military, right? I came in the late 70s and it was still pretty racist, right? I mean, not to be funny, back in those days, I was a young kid, not a lot of money because I had just enlisted, and I was stationed in Camp Lejeune. And when you're off at the end of the day, they call that liberty, right? And when you're on liberty, you can go out in town and drink and carouse and do whatever, right? So when we would go out in town, they had liberty buses that would take you off base into town to go clubbing, do whatever you're going to do, and then the buses would bring you back at night. There was literally fights on the liberty bus every night coming back from town because everybody went out in town, got drunk, and all of the racists let their emotions come out because they were drunk, and we'd be fighting on the bus when we got to the front gate of the base, right? But the progression that I have seen during my time, because that's also a time when women were basically considered second class in terms of the military. They could only have secretarial jobs and administrative jobs and things like that. Matter of fact, women weren't even allowed to fire pew-pews when I first came in. Unless they were specifically going to be MPs, they didn't get to qualify with weapons.
Oh, wow.
Right? I saw all of those. They even had different uniforms in my branch. They had completely different uniforms for the women. They looked like little candy stripers or nurses or something.
Really?
Right? So I've watched a complete progression from the time that I first came in where the racial thing got a heck of a lot better. Accepting women got a heck of a lot better. I saw the progression of progressiveness, if we will, throughout my time in, and I spent 26 years in. Right. So it had gotten a lot better during that time. So that's why I think I want to call that the golden age, because we made a lot of progress from the late 70s, early 80s until the 2000s. A lot of progress with integration and what today I guess we would call DEI or whatever. We diversified the military quite a bit during that time and made a lot of progress. So to see all of that going backwards, this happened right after I got out, right? The ending of Don't Ask, Don't Tell happened right after I retired, right? So to see all of those things being stripped away, taking it back to at least the 70s, if not before, that's extremely disheartening.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, especially like you said, in any situation, seeing that progression happen, and then things that you feel like is going to be beneficial to not only yourself but people to come after you, and then to see those, that progressive movement being stripped away, that has to be tough. But I'm sure that you had a lot of fun in the speakeasies that you used to go to, so I'm sure that.
Hey, we still have those where I live, so don't talk about speakers.
Hawk was out there in the juke joint.
But you just made me think of something else. I just read an article. I was on Reddit or Quora or whatever a day or two ago, and I was reading. Somebody asked a question about women in special forces. That's another thing, right? Back in the day, not that long ago, women weren't allowed to be in combat arms. Now they are, right? So much so that they're even qualifying for, and many are getting into special forces. The specific question of the article I was reading was, were there any women SEALs, right? Navy SEALs. But there are women in the special forces in every branch except the Marine Corps. There hasn't been a woman Marine who quite made the cut yet or whatever. But there are women that are willing, and there are women that are qualified, and they're doing the damn thing. So what's going to happen to that? Are they going to take that back too? I mean, these are the things that I'm concerned about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for that, Hawk. I want to transition over, but I want to kind of piggyback off of something that you said while transitioning over. So I'm coming to you next, Nikki, but I just want to actually quick call out, guys. Keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 150,000 likes. Let's get the shares up. Let's get the shares up to 200 shares. Also, guys, we still have $250 left in our nightly donation goal. There's 377 people here watching. So if just 250 people send $1, we can definitely knock out our nightly donation goal. It helps to actually allow us to continue to have these lives. So if you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And please don't forget to take care of Hawk while he is up on the panel. He is co-hosting with me this week. And maybe, If you tip him something in his pay links, you can get him down to the place under the hill where they have the moonshine or whatever he drinks. So let's make sure we take care of Hawk. With that being said, Nikki, Hawk mentioned something, and he said that there was a golden age in the military, and it got me thinking about like the overall progression where there's certain, whether it's marginalized groups, whether it's like black people, women, trans people, like there's always this quote unquote, I guess, golden age, an age where you see some type of real progression where you feel like either your rights, or you're gaining your rights, or your voice is being heard, or things like that. Do you feel like there has been any type of progression along those lines for people with disabilities? And if so, is there, like, what does it look like knowing that you've gotten certain things for progression, but now it's being threatened?
I don't know if like a golden age, like a full golden age, would be part of it. We were making some progress in the fact, like, under this administration, the people who insulin and Medicare being able to negotiate their own drug prices, things like that are a very big thing, because one of the medications that they just approved to be on this thing is something called Embrel, which is a biologic medication my mom took. It was $1,200 a dose. And Medicare is now able to negotiate for it on their own, and I think it was $25 a month for it, because over here in our country we get charged ridiculous amounts of money, where in other countries it's much different. So that was a very big benefit for people in a disabled community, because these medications are usually something that, like, it's either food or medication, or rent or food. Like, there's a choice that has to be made. So this made that choice not always have to be such a big choice. But I don't think that there's been as big a strides as there has been for other communities. But now I see all of the strides, even in those communities, going backwards. So I watched strides going in the veterans community, and the thing that happened for the 9/11 firefighters and all of that, and they funded it for the entire lifetime of the bill, and they just unfunded it.
Yep.
So it's like the more progression that you make, the more they kind of kick you off the mountain and say, nope, not really.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a great point. And that's always something I worry about. And I'm gonna call it what it is. You always see those Republicans that are voting for those rights to not just be stripped away, but like blocking efforts to actually be beneficial. I heard someone say that the Republican Party is a party of obstruction, and even more so over these last couple of years, that's exactly what we've seen. So
it is. It's I had a really hard day today, and I'll tell you why. I was watching. I'm in Georgia, and I heard I'm near Dobbins Air Force Base, which is where President Carter's body was taken to load on the plane, and I heard the 21 gun salute from my house, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, is this the last time that I'm gonna be proud of our country and show any kind of hope and pride? Like, this is what I grew up with. I grew up watching, like, he was a horrible man, but I remember walking around the corner and watching the motorcade for Ronald Reagan. Like, these were things that we looked forward to, and there was always hope. And today I watched this man being laid in the Capitol, going, I don't know if I'm ever going to feel that way again. I don't have hope now, and I did before.
yeah.
And I hate saying that, because the lady sitting under me is one of the most incredible people I've met on this app. And I want nothing more than to give the world to her and to make people realize how incredible she is. And for Chris and for like all of the veterans and everything.
Stop it.
I wish everybody could just. I don't understand why somebody. It's not a pie. Like taking something away from somebody else isn't the thing. I'll share my pie with Lainey, and I'll go to the bathroom with her. Like I don't care. Like I don't understand why people have to make a choice, and people have to fight to exist when jackasses like Elon Musk and Zuckerberg are making billions and billions of dollars off of us, and I can't afford my medication 1 month, or if I go $20 over my income, they cut everything. Like it's no, I don't. No.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and it speaks to who we are and where we are as a country and as a society. Iman, I saw you had your hand up in the chat. You wanted to add something to that?
I'm gonna let somebody else come up and talk because I'm gonna go cry. It's been a really bad day.
I understand. Well, thank you for coming.
Love you, Nikki.
I love you too, honeys. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I'll be here. It's been a bad day.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I saw you, Ren. I see you, baby.
Thank you for the subscription, Trouble. Hey, Bushmaster, you. So I'm gonna leave this box open. You can actually come up. So
Santana, I can't get out.
I got you. I was dropping you already. I'm sorry. Bushmaster.
I do that all the time.
Yeah,
I drop
listen.
people halfway through a sentence.
I have
by accident.
a quick trigger. Bushmaster, I'm sending you a request to come up. Hey, Bushmaster, how are you?
I'm good. I don't mind coming up and talking, but when I'm talking, am I going to get muted? Because if I'm going to get muted, there's no point in being here.
Well, listen, give it a chance, Bushmaster. I know you and I have interacted. You've been on sparring, and we've interacted in other spaces, but this is a little bit different. This is Late Nights with Santana. This is an actual panel discussion. So, no, we have no intentions on planning or on muting you or anything like that. This is an open conversation, just how people have been speaking so far, and even more so, your perspective is welcomed here because we do want to actually speak to Trump supporters. I would love to hear the thoughts from Trump supporters on some of the feedback that they're receiving from veterans and also people of the disabled community and the things that they are concerned about with the Trump administration. So yes, you're more than welcome here. The only thing that I do ask is that we remain respectful and no one's over talking each other and we're going one at a time. So as long as you're good with that, then you're more than welcome on the panel.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay. All right. Well, Bushmaster, this is what I'll do because I have to get to a couple of other people, but I want to come back to you specifically because I would like to hear your perspective again. But let me jump over for a second to Iman, and then I'll come back to you, okay?
All right.
Iman, you had your hand up.
Yes, because one of the things I really wanted to cover was what Chris was referencing from Agenda 47, firing left-wing rogue Democrats from the military, and how readiness works in the military. I actually asked Hulk to do this, but it was like literally 5. You had like 2 minutes, and I knew it was going to be a longer conversation. But it's not there's two issues about this. One is you have MOSs or jobs in your unit that you can't not have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if it's not there, your unit is not useful anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how that works.
Mm-hmm.
They're just done. The second thing is the unrung bell. So when you start talking about firing left-wing woke Democrats, you start force retiring them.
Mm-hmm.
Once they're retired, they're not coming back. No matter how much you take it back, no matter how much you say, never mind, I didn't really mean it. None of that's going to do it. Once that E7, E8, 21 years, 22 years, 23 years of just experience and everything else, field grade officers with tons of experience get out of the military. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a lot of but as we know from data, college educated people voted for Kamala. Okay, so we know that there's a high chance that a lot of these officers you're trying to get rid of as woke Democrats are officers. And when you start getting rid of those field grade officers, et cetera, that's when you start running into an issue of overall readiness of the military. One, you can't fill, because that's not how FedRec works. They don't just promote out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to NCOs, you lose a lot of experience. Okay, I personally, I'm an NCO. I got battle staff. I have 24 years in the military, and I have Mission Command Digital Master Procure. So I mean, like, this is who I am, and this is what I do. I'm Camo. I make things talk. Okay, I do it from the ADA side all the way over to your computer.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I do. So when you say, "Hey, I'm going to fire you," I say, "No, I got my 20-year letter, son. I'm done."
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't unring that bell.
Right. You know, that's super interesting. Bushmaster, I want to come back to you just real quick. There's 3 questions that I've asked everyone on the panel. So I'm going to give you the 3 questions, and then I want to follow up, and I would like to kind of get a response to something that Iman was just saying, and I also would love to hear your perspective on it. But the 3 questions are: what are your pronouns? Are you a member of either one of these communities, either the veteran community or the disabled community? And what are your expectations for these communities under the for the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
So, my pronouns, I'm just a man, so whatever you call a man.
Okay, he, him.
I'm a veteran. I believe in freedom of speech. You can call me whatever you want. You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
Okay. And you said you're a vet?
That'd be weird.
Yes,
Thank you
I
for
am
your
a veteran.
service.
I did 9 years, 3 combat tours overseas as an infantryman.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support. What was your second question? Was
Well, it's my third question. What are your expectations for your community, the veteran community, for the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
under the Trump administration? Well, I look to see the VA improve a lot. We've had a lot of problems with the VA. Not necessarily. I think it's more the bureaucrats that's involved. I think we need to get that worked out. That would be the biggest thing.
Okay. Well, I have a follow-up question on that, but first, let me throw this to you, because you are actually specifically in the place that I want you to be able to answer this question. So, Iman just spoke to like the process in which you would know this as well, being a veteran, but the process as far as those people with getting them out of the military, and basically, like he said, you can't unring that bell once it happens. But I said this, and I think you might not have been here when I made the statement, but one reason I always say, thank you for your service for those people who have served, is because it's not something that I could have done, right? I know for a fact that I'm not built to actually be in the military and put my life on the line like people in the military do every day. With that being said, I would love to hear your perspective on the whole idea as far as like wokeness, right? Wokeness and getting quote unquote woke generals out of the military, but even more so getting trans people out of the military. Can you help me understand, like, what's the point of that? Because again, as a civilian, someone who knows that I can't do that, I have a hard time saying that anyone that's willing to put their life on the line, and as long as they're physically able to do so, shouldn't be able to do so.
Well, my understanding for the military, the way I see it, is it's supposed to be the most lethal force on the planet. That's essentially their objective.
You're kind of fading in and out, Bushmaster.
Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I was saying, to my understanding, the military needs to be the most lethal force out there. Period.
Hmm.
That way, we don't have any issues. So anything that might be an issue, be it woke or just a regular person or whatever you want to call it, you got to get that stuff out. You got to clean that stuff out and make it the most lethal force. Now that could be someone being overweight, not meeting the standards. It means it could be a lot of things. Like if you fail a PT test and you fail it consecutively from like a lot of times or whatever, I think it's like 3 times, they could chapter you out of the military. So it could be a lot of different things that play into that.
Okay. Well, and so you said, and Chris, I'm going to come to you in a second because uh, Bushmaster, you said something which I agree with, right? Like if it's a physical aspect, if it's you're failing a PT test, you're failing to meet certain standards or whatever, like that makes perfect sense. So I agree, right? If you can't actually fulfill the duty to keep you proficient, but you double down again on like the wokeness. So I guess, can you help me understand what that means? Because like I don't understand what wokeness means in the military. I asked Hawk, the person beside you, the same question, because he's a veteran as well. And he spoke to how he was in the military in the 70s and the 80s, and he saw the progression of coming in where basically women were second class citizens, and they didn't have access to a weapon unless they were a what's the word,
MP.
MP, yes, MP. But he also talked about like the racial tensions and all this other stuff, and how he was able to see that progression. And so that's when I think of like quote unquote woke. I mean, I'm thinking of progression. Can you help me understand what that really is as far as like wokeness?
I think they're talking about the alphabet community, maybe. I'm not sure. I
You
can't
mean the
speak
queer
because
community?
I would assume so. I don't
Okay.
know.
But again, that goes back to what I was saying, though, Bushmaster. I mean, what does it matter if you are gay, lesbian, straight, transsexual, like any of those things, as long as you are like physically able to complete the duty of serving in the military?
Uh, I'm not sure what they maybe they see something I don't. I can't speak on that too much because I'm not too uh what's the word, educated on, I guess you'd say.
Okay,
Well, that's honest. I appreciate that. I don't want to step on Chris, but I got one
go
question
ahead,
I
Hawk.
have to
You're
ask.
the co-host. Go ahead.
Bushmaster, are you aware that in the time frame that we're talking about, and let's go from like say 1975 until present day, how many honorable veterans, how many honorable combat veterans were either gay, lesbian, bi, or transgender, or whatever, who served honorably for years, in some cases for decades, in some cases in special services, but had to do so in secret because of silliness like don't ask, don't tell, and crap like that. But they served their country well, just as well, if not better, than you and I, but they had to do it
Well,
in secret because of stuff like what we're talking about. Are you aware that that exists?
well, I mean, there's a lot of things even straight people have to do. They had to do in secret because, uh, you know as well as I do, when you served in the military, we had a different set of rules to abide by. Like we could only quote unquote it now was something that wasn't enforced, but you could only do SMECs in the missionary position. You couldn't do any other position.
Wait,
That
is
was
that
even
wait,
for
wait, wait,
straight
hold
people. It
on,
didn't matter.
hold on. Like, wait, did you say that was an actual rule of the military?
Hell
Yes,
no.
that was a regulation in the military. Now I've been
Really?
out since
Quote the
2012.
regulation,
I've been
sir.
out
Quote the
since
regulation.
Hold
2012.
on 1 second. Let him finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bushmaster.
So
Say it
I've
one more
been out
time.
since 2012. I was saying I've been out since 2012. I don't know if that regulation's still there. Now it wasn't enforced. It wasn't like your leadership walking in with your wife or whoever you was with. You know what I mean? But it you didn't talk about it. You know what I mean?
Huh. Okay, Hawk, you were saying something. Chris, I want to come to
I
you,
I
and then I
I
want
I I,
to.
Yeah, I keep stepping on Chris, and I apologize, but I implore you, sir, please quote me a regulation that says that. I've been retired since 2005. It
Hold
did
on, I
not
can't quote.
exist. It did not exist in my
It
time.
was
There was no such regulation.
it was
There
an
aren't
old
regulations against what you do in your personal life.
it was an old sodomy law that was not enforced at all.
Oh.
Yeah,
By
that's what I
like
said. It
in
wasn't
modern
enforced.
times.
Wait,
Yeah.
so
It
okay, help
wasn't
me.
enforced, but you couldn't talk about it.
Wait.
You know what
Okay,
I'm saying?
help me
No, it
understand this.
literally wasn't enforced.
Wait,
Like
help. So
nobody.
help me
Yeah.
understand this, because
Well, that
um,
way they could, if you talked about it, they could enforce it because that's you're giving yourself up. You're basically
No, that
telling on
was the
yourself.
don't ask, don't tell
hold on
thing,
one
and that
second,
it was
guys.
that was about
1 second, Laney.
GAY lesbian relationships, not about like if a
Yeah,
straight
hold on,
couple
Laney. 1
did
second.
stuff that
Time
would
out,
not
Laney.
be
Time
for
out.
that.
So Bushmaster, you said that it was what did you call it?
You could only have smecks in
No.
the.
Did you say it was like an order, or what did you
Oh
say it
yeah,
was?
it's under the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Okay,
Yeah, it
so
was
you
UCMJ.
said
it
it was
was
under the Unicode. Okay, and then Laney, you said that it was an
Check
old
Discord.
law.
Article 125 of the U.S. Code of Military Justice states any person subject to this chapter who engages in unnatural carnal copulation with another person of the same or opposite sex or with an animal is guilty of sodomy.
Which is still not what he said. He
Well,
said
I mean,
missionaries.
he's not incorrect. The regulation was there. It's just that it has not been enforced in a very long time, with the exception of for queer folks during the Don't Ask,
Right.
Don't Tell
Like
era.
they're not walking in and stopping you from doing it. You just couldn't talk about it outside the bedroom.
Yeah, I it's that most members of the military ignore this regulation concerning oral smacks between consenting adults.
Wait, so just
And that
you
was in
wait, you
2007.
Laney, you said oral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like
does
that
it?
smacks of any like thing other than missionary, right?
Oh,
Like,
okay. Huh?
That's correct. So
But
Vegas,
not-
I'm
it
confused
wasn't
too.
a target. It was a target everybody. It wasn't just like they make it out to be with this quote unquote gay stuff. No, it wasn't just about that. It was about everybody. I mean, that's what a lot of people didn't understand. Look, I was a sergeant, so I know this stuff. I had to learn all this stuff, and there was a whole like. I went in back when you had to freaking shine your boots. I know you remember shining boots, Hawk. I know you remember that.
me too.
And
I
you
shot
had
my
to go
boots
to
and
you
my
had to go to
butt.
yeah, you had to go in and you had to be clean shaved, shine your boots. Everything had to be uniform. Your uniform had to be perfect. Dress, and if it
I,
wasn't, I mean, you was getting punishment
I
for it of
don't
some
dis- I
kind.
don't dis- I don't disagree with that, Bushmaster, but I gotta push back on you because the locker room talk that has become so prevalent today or whatever, we know we had that in the military. And guys bragging about different things that they did with females or whatever, you can't tell me that none of those things would be classified as sodomy. So they did talk about it. So the
Yeah.
thing is y'all just didn't understand what all of that stuff was. Maybe you did because of the way
Yeah,
you
and
just described it to us, but I guarantee you the average ones didn't, and they all bragged about their triumphs and whatnot when they were out on leave and liberty and whatever else, doing whatever with females that they met or whatever. So I have to push back on what you're saying
Well, I'm
because
not going to deny that there's guys that had those talks that were higher ranked with some lower ranks and they didn't act on it. I don't deny that. Like, I mean, you know as well as I do that everybody in the military had their little groups or whatever that they sit around and chill out with, and they were friends.
Thank you so
So I'm
much.
not going to disagree with
that
that.
takes away. But that takes away from your original statement, Bushmaster, because if they were sitting around bragging about this stuff on a regular basis, they weren't worried about being kicked out for things that they did, whereas people in the queer community were.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And were
As well
kicked
as being
out.
persecuted
Yeah.
while still on active duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be willing to bet that during Don't Ask, Don't Tell that not a single straight person was ever kicked out for oral copulation or not to be graphic, but from behind
Yep.
or anything of that nature.
Yep.
Yeah.
With if it was hetero.
Yeah.
And it did say this was in 2007 from the hang on, it's hard to read. The Defense Technical Information Center. This is an abstract of it. Even though the Uniform Code of Military Justice is a code members of the military voluntarily live by, Article 125 is no longer relevant in the military or in civilian society in general. Should we still be pursuing those members who violate it? Question mark. It is a moral standard that is commonly ignored and not very well known even within the military. Military officials. Members of the military, both hetero and homosexual, violate this regulation on a regular basis. Article 125 should be abolished altogether and slanted more towards animals or great victims. Most members of the military and civilian society ignore the regulation concerning oral. It is, as is shown in the following pages, sodomy as a moral standard is no longer relevant in either military or civilian society between two consenting adults. Yeah, so, but there were, during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, many
But
homosexual and bisexual.
Yeah.
Like that
So
top
hold
that
on one
were
second. Hold on one second, guys, because I
released.
want to get a hold of this, and I kind of want to loop it back around. I want to, like, there's a lot going on. I know Ren has questions. Chris, you were next. I got something to read off. I still want to actually come to Christopher and Gina as well. We're going to loop this all back around. But Chris, real quick, can you, because you shared this, can you speak to this?
Yeah, so this is from multiple sources. One, this is from the military defenders. It is also from the actual UCMJ website, and it's from the McLean military lawyers talking about Article 134 over the UCMJ. Yeah, so whatever like he was talking about, yeah, that's actually never, but there's never been a thing in the Uniform Code of Military Justice that dictates particular sexual positions between consenting adults.
No, it is 125.
125. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in the
That's what I was
citation.
reading.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. To be honest, like I don't even know how we got here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and
Yeah, I
try
know.
try and guide it back. So let's guide it back real quick. So he said in the very beginning, right? Yes, there's things in the military that we had to deal with. Well, here's the thing: the military used to segregate, right? We get better over time, right? So that doesn't go with the excuse that in the don't ask, don't tell period that was still wrong. Plus, there's no statistical evidence that LGBTQIA in the military, right, confirmed by RAND and NATO and all these other nonpartisan think tanks, makes us a weaker military. Actually, integration makes us better. And you deployed to Afghanistan just like I do. If you remember the FET teams, right, saved my behind. When you go to certain villages, right, you can't touch. I mean, you can't interact with women, but other women can, and that avoids firefights.
Hang on. I got a clarification.
Yeah,
whenever
you're
you're
good.
ready.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So actually, I'm looking into the details of it now. This was actually like I think probably just rumor mill bullshit because here's the actual. It's very specific as to what is defined as unnatural carnal copulation here. So it is. There's very specific things. There's 4. If the accused used force and there was no consent. If the victim of the alleged offense was under the age of 12. If the victim 12 okay, if the victim was between the ages of 12 and 16, the penalties include forfeiture. Okay, yeah, so if it's under 12, then they get a dishonorable discharge, forfeiture of all pay and allowances, and life imprisonment. If they're between the ages of 12 and 16, okay, the penalties include forfeiture of all pays and allowances, dishonorable discharge, and up to 20 years in military prison. In other cases, such as a conviction for sodomy on an animal, the accused faces dishonorable discharge, forfeiture of all pay and allowances, and 5 years of confinement in military prison. This is not about doggy style.
Okay. So with that being said, we got like
So-
way
Yeah.
off track. I want to rein it back in. We're going to continue to move this forward. and go from there. Let me read this off, and Bushmaster, don't take this the
Game
wrong
of
way.
telephone was all that was.
Yeah. Bushmaster, let me read this off and don't take it personal because this is not me. This is someone that sent a donation. But W's in the chat for Gene. Gene sent $1 donation to say Bushmaster's pronouns are dumb and ass. W's in the chat for Gene. Thank you for that donation, Gene. Guys, we still have $249 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all of my pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to actually support the live. So if you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. We have 380 people watching right now. So if 249 people send $1, we can knock that out. And also, please, somebody take care of Hawk, because Hawk is up here running through not only all of his recollection of things that he did in the military, but we got Hawk up here talking about missionary and military and all kind of wild stuff. So make sure we're taking care of Hawk and the panel. Gift the panel. With that being said, let's wrap this back around. Right, I want to get to. I know there's like other questions, but I want to get us back on track, and I specifically don't want it to be, just one-sided. I want to come to Chris, right? Christopher. So I know we were originally talking about like the golden age, right? And I put the question to Hawk and then also to Nikki. But I would love to hear your thoughts as far as, do you think there has been a quote-unquote golden age for people with disabilities, or do you feel like there was any progression being made in the right direction? And do you have any worries about like any progression that has been made pretty much going backwards under the Trump administration?
Before you answer, can I just pop down? I really need to go to bed.
Yeah,
It's
no.
very
Thank you so
early.
much for coming up, Lainey. I appreciate you so much.
I meant to stay on for like 10 or 15 minutes, but you know me, I get like,
no worries.
so
You get locked in.
Yeah.
I do, and then time just goes. All right, love y'all so much.
Love you too.
Thanks,
Thank you, Lainey. All right, Christopher, the floor is yours.
All right. So, in short answer, no. And the reason why I'm saying no is because through lived experience, right? I think for me, the biggest issues that I have, not only with like my physical disability itself, but also the education system.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like throughout my whole education career, the system left me for dead because I had to do things that had to do with learning a different way, trying to figure out what's going to make it so I can succeed the best way that I can. And growing up, I had to have my mom advocate for me when it comes to getting me on an IEP or a 504 and having the things that I need. And so my biggest worry in the upcoming Trump administration is that it has already been said that he wants to cut the Department of Education, and that will set so many generations of kiddos that are disabled way far back, and it's going to in a way they're going to be in uncharted waters, if that makes sense. And that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people understand how important the Department of Education is, not only for just the able-bodied students, but also the disabled students in multiple ways. And I know we kind of touched on it last night. And kind of tapering off, Christopher, can you, is there any, whatever you feel comfortable with, is there any anything that you can share from like your past where you were able to actually function in school because of things that were regulated, or how do you think things would have been different? Because there's going to be a reality. I mean, they've already proposed it. They've already proposed a bill to actually get rid of the Department of Education. So there's going to be a generation of kids that do have disabilities that aren't going to have those same protections as you while they're trying to go through school.
I think for me, given my experience, the biggest thing for me was having that individualized one-on-one learning and the accommodations that I needed for me to be able to succeed. Like, I'll give you an example. So with my physical disability, I have very weak finger dexterity, and so when I was in middle school, my IEP made it so I would be able to be provided a laptop to be able to get what I needed to get done accomplished.
Christopher, how old are you?
28.
Okay. I thought you were a little bit older. I was about to say, wait, how did you get a laptop in middle school? Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, being able to have those accommodations to be able to function was vital for me. But seeing that a lot of things, like I stated before, are going to get cut, hopefully not, it makes it so much difficult for the next generation, as you said. So that's just what I think is an issue, and I just hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, perfect. Thank you so much for that. Ren, I know you have a question, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that question that I just asked Christopher as well.
Well, I guess I want to kind of touch on that.
Yep.
Because, as everybody knows, I have a child, and they graduated a little over a year ago from high school. And the whole time that they were in school, she had a IEP. And because she has ADHD, and I did ask her if I could share this, she doesn't care. I think about how when she was little, she had to have physical therapy and occupational therapy in school. And how many kids are not going to get those services because they're not going to be required anymore? And you may have families that if you don't give them occupational and physical therapy in that school setting, those kids won't get it. They won't get those services at all. And hold on one second.
Hey guys, just a quick reminder while Ren is doing what she has to do, guys, we still have our daily live goals, which is to let them cook. Let's keep tapping the screen, get the likes up to 150,000 likes. Let's get the shares up to 300 shares. You guys are being stingy with the likes and the shares. I don't know why. Like, they're free, so, hook a brother up. Also, guys, we still have $249 left in our nightly donation goal. It would be really nice if we could knock that out tonight. There's 349 people watching, so 249 people, just send $1. We can close that out completely. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All of my pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. Everything is appreciated. Anything is accepted. And please, please, please drop a couple of gold doubloons in Hawk's coin purse, because he will be hitting the speakeasy at some point, and we got to make sure that he can't go to the juke joint unless he fresh, because we don't want him to be a jive turkey. You dig?
Is he going to the juke joint or the honky tonk?
How many eras of history are you guys gonna hit? That's what I want.
We're talking about the War of 1812. That ring in, bro.
Hey, Hawk is like Wolverine. He's been alive for a long time.
You got them claws too, Rick. Just remember that.
I'm sorry, Ren. Go ahead and finish what you were
That's
saying.
okay. I've said
And Ren, when you're done, I want to piggyback on what you're saying.
Okay. So she it's a lot of kids that are not going to be able to get those services, and it kind of weaves kind of into something else that I'm saying too, with not being able to get occupational therapy and physical therapy. But you want to know one thing that I've heard nobody say just yet?
What's that?
You want to know one of the things that is included in the ACA?
What's that?
The fact that kids can stay on their parents' insurance until they're 26.
Mm-hmm.
And if you change the ACA where those kids can't do that, how many of those kids, like my child, technically will be considered having pre-existing conditions and will not be able to get insurance?
Yep.
But nobody is talking about that.
Absolutely. That is that's something that a lot of people are missing out on, and I think that they're underplaying the ACA. But let's do this. I'm gonna come to Hawk, and then I know Iman had his hand up, but I also want to get back to Bushmaster because I want to hear what he has to say. We still haven't heard from Gina. We got to introduce Silver Saint, and I also need to cycle a couple of people out. So we got a lot of moving that we need to do. Hawk, the floor is yours.
Yeah, just real quick on the last conversation that they were having between Ren and Christopher. What they have under the IEP and the 504 programs are what they call accommodations and modification, right? Some of those address the physical aspects, which they have already talked about or whatever, but the others actually address specifically the educational aspects. For instance, the modifications is modifying the lesson plans to actually match that individual child's disability, whatever it is, right? So they may get more time to do it. They may get access to equipment like Christopher was talking about, laptops. They also provide headphones so they can have it read to them instead of having to read it themselves, depending upon their disability. But they also get modified lesson plans that addresses issues that they may have, for instance, like dyslexia or something like that or whatever. So there's a lot of things covered in that, and all of that goes away. So not on top of them not being able to get the things that they need to help with their disabilities or whatever, we're going to have a generation of kids that are going to be uneducated because they're not going to be able to receive that education.
Yep, absolutely, and that's something that I was fearing as well. Bushmaster, I'm coming right back to you because I would love to hear your perspective on that. But let me just hit Iman real quick because he's been so patient. But then we're coming to you next. All right, Iman, the floor is yours.
So I'm a kind of run a lot of things and kind of go to military and then to disabled because I want to talk about my son because he's awesome.
Okay.
So when it comes to the military, I'm not trying to attack Bushmaster or anybody, but the concept of woke has never existed in the military, but the military has done woke things.
Yep.
I.e., we have consistently addressed how we address certain things like sharp and things that are acceptable and not acceptable. I'm not talking about the enforcement side because we got a long way to go. The military will always continue to be quote unquote woke by somebody's idea, by people's horrible definition of the word, but it's actually just becoming understanding social differences between different groups of people and making the military stronger by not having that's what she said jokes and all this other stupid stuff that y'all keep doing. And Bushmaster, when you were talking about sodomy and all that other stuff, it's crazy because you're an 11 Bravo, but you didn't hesitate to admit you kind of glossed over the 11 Bravo initiation that y'all do, that shenanigans that they stopped. Yeah, that infantry nonsense is crazy. I didn't even know about it until I was like 12 years old. But let me cover. I'm gonna cover like IEP. My son had an IEP all throughout school. He doesn't have one now, but I have it to where he can be in a private school in Florida. So this is the thing. When you get rid of IEPs, you're forcing kids into private schools. Families can't afford private schools. My son's school is not cheap, and it's not easy to get anything and to get the ability to get these kids in a school and be able to financially support that. So when you take away the Department of Education, it's just crazy. But here's the thing. I want y'all to think of it like this. The president-elect literally said, we're going to get rid of the Department of Education. Then he said, oh, the Americans are too dumb to get college through. And it's like you're taking away their ability to get into college and finish it. So you're literally that's like breaking something and then going, man, you ain't like I put you on flats and then go, man, you ain't driving nowhere. It's like, yeah, it's my fault. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's just crazy. And I want just think about it. When it comes to a lot of things, when we were because on Sparring with Santana, they were talking about Dreamers as well, and we realized how he tried to gut Dreamers and he tried to do this. I think it may have been Chris, I'm not sure, but that's what they do. It's called the shakeup. Okay, it's a corporate technique to see how to stress test a business. Okay, you take half the people away from the business and see if it'll be okay. And if it's okay, then you just go, well, I didn't do anything wrong, and you move on and enjoy the benefits. With that, I'm going to go ahead and drop. You got a lot of ops that do want to come up here, Santana. Thank you for inviting.
Okay,
Real,
perfect.
real quick, Iman, before you leave, let me say this real quick. Even with what we have today with the Department of Education, what people need to understand is private schools don't fall under all of the rules of Department of Education, so they're not required to provide IEPs and 504s. They may do it, but like you said, they're going to charge you through the teeth to do it, but they're not required to do that like public schools are. So it's almost like it will be if they do get rid of the Department of Education. Private schools is not the answer to that because they're not required to help children with disabilities.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's the answer because I know it's not. Not everybody cannot afford private schools, and they're forcing everybody there because they want this school choice nonsense. That way they don't have to fund inner city schools. But also, my son got straight A's on his report card.
Hey, W's in the chat for
Yeah,
son.
good for him.
That's what I'm talking about.
But can I piggyback off something Iman said?
Well, real quick, because I want to, Christopher, I'm going to drop you down as well, if you don't mind, my friend. I want to give Bushmaster the opportunity to respond because he's been super patient, and I don't want it to be like all this coming in and then, we're going from there. So I'll come back to you, but Bushmaster, the floor is yours.
As far as IEPs go, I don't know. As a single father, I've been pretty fortunate. I got a daughter. She's in the third grade right now. She's never made below an A on her report card. She don't really have any medical issues, so I don't really have any problems or worries with that. As far as education, she's getting the best education for the area in which I have her. So, that's really all I got on that. But to comment on the DA comment, that was cute. I like that. I just wanted to say that if me deploying 3 times and bringing everybody home the same way they went over there that I was responsible for makes me a DA, well, I'll stand 10 toes down on it. I think that's a pretty damn good accomplishment.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I'm so sorry. Let's take a whole step back. Gina, how are you? Gina, are you there? I'm gonna send you a request to come off mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Gina, I am so sorry. The panel got away from me for a second. I apologize that we've gone
It's
this long
okay.
without getting to you. I wanted to come to you, right, to ask you the same question about the golden age, right? If you think that there has been a quote unquote golden age for people with disabilities, and then also, if so or if not, does that worry you, especially knowing that there's an actual rolling back possibly coming? And then with that being said as well, I wanted to give you the space and the floor to actually add whatever else that you want, because you've been so patient and I appreciate you so much.
It's been a really good conversation so far, so I've been listening. I have some serious concerns, Santana, because I'm disabled and I'm also retired, so I get a Social Security check and a disability check, which is less than $250. So I live within $1,000 a month. That's my income, less than $1,000. And my rent is $1,500.
Wow.
So I get Section 8, which covers 3/4 of my rent, and my daughter pays the rest from her VA check. So I'm dependent on her. She's dependent on me. I take care of the kids. She goes to college. I take care of the kids. I do some housework. That's how we live. Um, but I'm concerned because they keep saying that Social Security is going to be affected, and the VA is going to be affected, and people's food stamps are going to be affected. So everything is a problem. Everything is going to be like, oh my God, how do I? And I can't work because my back, I have fractures in my spine, so I'm constantly in pain, and I can't find a job that I can stand for more than 3 hours. So, yeah, I'm 66 years old. I don't know if I'm older or not, but my golden age was in the 70s when I first came to this country. That I was a young girl and I had life by the handle. That was the golden age for me. And women were not allowed to have a bank account. So it was kind of difficult then. But the 80s, I had my kids. So far, it's been nothing but concern for the past 10 years. I had a business, but after COVID, I had to let it go because I had to let go of the employees. And I closed the business. So ever since I got injured, my back my hurt. I haven't been able to work, and like I said, I live under $1,000. So if they take that away, if they cut that in any kind of way, I'm totally screwed. I'd be homeless.
Yeah. And
I'm also, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're perfectly fine. Go ahead.
Also, my other concern is with immigration because I'm a brown person that is an immigrant, naturalized citizen. So if he decides that he one day wakes up and says, I want to take papers away from this bunch of immigrants and send them away, that's a concern for me. So I'm carrying my passport everywhere I go, just in case.
Yeah. No, listen, you hit a lot of different buckets as far as people that are affected. I mean, the fact that you're an immigrant, the fact that you're disabled, the fact that you're a woman, like you, wow. Also, you know what? I wanted to do something special, just kind of off the cuff, right? Because Gina, I see you in here all the time, right? You watch all the time. I see you in the comments sometime, but I notice you're not a subscriber, right?
No, I'm not.
Until now.
I can't afford it.
No. So I just sent you a subscription. So you are officially now one of our subscribers. I appreciate you so much because, again, you hang out with us all the time. You're always here. It means so much to me. The fact that you're willing to come up on the panel and not only share your story, but just everything that means so much to me. So you know what? Hey, Gina, there's some people asking in the comments, do you have a Cash App? There's some people that would love to help support you as well. So
no, I don't have.
Okay, do you have Venmo or PayPal or anything?
I think I had a Venmo. I would have to get the app again.
Okay.
I did have it before. Yes.
Okay.
So I'll have to apply for it, I guess.
Okay. Well, we'll you and I'll connect. We'll talk. We'll see what we can do and as a community as well. But welcome to the subscriber family.
Whatever they want to send to me, they can send it to you, and you and I can sort it out later.
Okay. Yeah. Guys, if anyone is interested in sending, Iman said carrier pigeon. Yeah, if anyone is interested in sending anything over to Gina, just go ahead and you can shoot it to me and just make sure that you know that it's for Gina, and I will work that out. But Gina, yeah, no, you're an amazing part of our community. You've been super patient. I appreciate you so much in so many different ways. And I don't know if you have Discord, but again, you now have access to the Discord. So we want to make sure that we get you in the Discord. And also, we want to make sure that we say W's in the chat for Kimberly. Kimberly sent a $50 donation for Gina. So there we go.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Oh my God,
absolutely.
thank you. That's the nicest thing.
Absolutely. Also, I know Bushmaster, you wanted to reply to what Gina was saying, and I want to give you that chance, but I want to introduce at least Silver Saint first, because Silver Saint hasn't gotten the opportunity to actually speak yet. And then I'll come back to you so you can respond. Also, W's in the chat for Iman. Iman sent Gina a $10 donation. So there we go.
There we go. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Silver Saint, 3 quick questions for you. What are your pronouns? Are you a part of either the veteran or disabled community? And what are your expectations for the next 4 years for under the Trump administration for those communities?
Thank you. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm having some connection issues. It's she, her. I'm a veteran, and I have fear for the next 4 years. And what that kind of stems from, and we were talking about it earlier when we were talking about like in the military, some of the dangers to marginalized groups, to women in the military, and speaking very specifically on MST, which is military SA trauma, and looking at those numbers. And then the fact that we just voted in a man who was found liable for SA. In the fiscal year of 2020, there were 7,378 reports of SA from military service members. When we look at these names, we're looking at people like Vanessa Gillian and Elder Fernandez. These are 2 that were SA'd and then unalived, which brought to the forefront the rise in SA in the military and the dangers of what that looks like for our military service members in getting aid and help. And we know that Biden signed into law some changes to the Uniform Code of Military Justice in regards to the investigation of SA in the military, because one of the most problematic things is the suppression of the reporting from these victims and the harm that came to them in doing so. And so looking forward, I know that even under Obama, they were trying to make these changes, and Republicans stood so harshly against it that it took all the way until Biden's administration to get these changes enacted. And I just believe that putting somebody found liable for SA in charge is going to set the wrong precedent for this this problem in the military.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and even more so, I kind of agree because of Pete Hegseth, and just like it's a whole thing. It's super interesting to me how there's so many people across the Trump administration that have these accusations and how it seems acceptable. So that's super interesting. Thank you for that, Silver Saint. Chris, I know you want to say something. Give me a second. Let me get to Bushmaster, and then I'll come back to you. Bushmaster, I know you want to respond. The floor is yours to take it whichever direction you want. But I just want to say, guys, W's in the chat for Ross. Ross sent a $20 donation for Gina. W's in the chat for Ross. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross.
Hey, I wanted to help Gina out, but I don't really know how. She says she don't have a Cash App.
Yeah, if you have a Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo, you can send it to me, and I'm going to organize getting her the funds. So my pay link is on the screen. If you see it says Santana Speaks 24, you can send it over to me.
All right.
But anyway, the floor is yours.
All right, skip past me. I just got back to my phone. I had to step away for a second.
Okay. Well, in that case, Chris, you wanted to say something, and then I need to actually introduce Jay and Unicorn as well. And I want to circle back around to Ren, because Ren, I want to cycle you out as well to get a couple other people in. But Chris, you had something.
Yeah, this is just something I've been talking about for like the past 2 weeks. So there's one group in the military that's actually going to be in a lot of, danger too. I don't think we talk about enough. Since we were talking about barring, people being barred and people getting the Muslim community that exists within the military, all about 6,000 self-identified of them as well. If you look at Trump's first administration, right, the hate crimes against them in general, even outside the military, spiked about 57%. And Muslims in the military started to not self-identify or report their faith while they were in the military, of fear of being, I'm not sure persecuted is the right word, but being reprimanded for that type of stuff. So my hearts go out to my Muslim community as well, because they're bracing for a very Islamophobic president as well. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting dynamic, and it always goes back to me questioning certain people that were willing to vote for Trump, even though it's going to be quote unquote harmful for them. But yeah, no, that's a really good call out, Chris.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I just about to go to bed. It's midnight. But Santana, thank you for doing this for us, bro. I
Chris,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
always.
Yeah,
You
hey,
guys have a good night.
if you're available tomorrow, we got one more night if you want to swing through. So
Oh, I'm gonna be there tomorrow. You guys have a good one.
thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Let me read this off because this came in a while ago, and I didn't want to shortchange Gene, but Gene sent a I don't Gene, I'm gonna have to send this back to you because Bushmaster, is that you that just sent that?
Yeah.
Okay, Gene, I'll send this back to you, but I'm not gonna read this mean message to Bushmaster after he just did that. Guys, W's in the chat for Bushmaster, who just sent Gene $100 donation. Thank you,
Wow.
Bushmaster. You are awesome. You
Oh
are
my
awesome.
God, thank you so much.
Yeah, Gene, I can't read the meme message off. He was nice. We got to play nice. I can't read the meme message. So, with that being said, Bushmaster, do you still need a moment, or do you want me to come back to you?
Yeah, just come back to me in a minute.
Okay. Jay, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Jay, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What community are you a part of, either the vet or disabled community? And what are your expectations for that community for the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Pronouns are she, they. I am disabled. I was born with spina bifida. It's a birth defect on the spinal cord. I'm paralyzed from the knees down, and I use a wheelchair full time. My expectations for disabled people under the Trump administration, I think we're in a hell of a lot of trouble. And I think that he has been openly ableist for years, and I think that it shows all the time. I mean, he's pretty open and honest about his ableism, so it's pretty clear that he's not very fond of people with disabilities. So I think that it's going to plummet.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for that. Unicorn, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming back. Unicorn, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What community are you a part of? And what are your expectations for that community over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
My pronouns are they, she. I am blind and have been since I was 10 years old. I have a hereditary vision condition that has left most people in my family blind, all visually impaired. And I am horrified and afraid, not as much for myself, because I have found success in a career, but I specifically work with feminists of color disability studies, and the idea that we wouldn't hold the door open or hold a hand down to help people up the ladder after us, and that people who come after me are going to have even more challenges than I did to get where I'm at, scares the hell out of me. And that makes me very sad, to be blunt about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's always interesting to me, like, no matter what, right? When there are certain people that, quote unquote, make it up the ladder and then they pull it up behind them, right? They get to a certain spot, no matter if it's like, oh, immigration, or oh, you make it in business, or you make money. I've never understood that whole perspective, and I've never understood as well, like, wanting to roll back certain things that actually allow people to be more successful in their life, including those types of protections. So yeah, that's super interesting. Ren, I wanted to come back to you, and I wanted to give you a moment to actually speak on any of the topics or share anything, because like I said, I want to rotate you out, but I wanted to give you the floor to not only speak or ask the Bushmaster a question or whatever you would like before we bring someone else in.
Well, I wanted to touch on that question you asked about the golden age of disability.
Oh, I didn't get to. Oh, I'm sorry, Ren. Yes, please go ahead.
The answer is absolutely and unequivocally no. Because ableism is still extremely rampant. We just got to the point in probably like the 70s and 80s and into the 90s where we were closing down institutions where they would put people with disabilities to essentially rot. And my biggest fear in this coming administration is that they're going to try to open those institutions and things back up to put disabled people back in these places and not provide the community supports. Because the reality is disabled people do better with proper supports in the community. They do better. However, those services, we don't even fully fund home and community-based waiver programs. We don't fully fund them.
Ren, what do we fully fund?
Nothing.
Yeah, we do.
The military.
You got it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the military. So at this point, we have a lot of people who are looking at me, and it kind of goes back to something Bushmaster said, where he said, well, my child doesn't have any trouble, or my kid, she gets all A's, but I'm sure she probably has friends that may need IEPs and 504s and those things. So what is it? Just forget those kids? Forget those people? Eventually, as a country, we're going to have to start considering this a group project at some point, because we are C-19 at this point didn't teach us nothing. We didn't learn anything about community.
You know what I learned, Ren, and not to get you off track too much. You know what I learned from C-19? When the zombie apocalypse comes, and yes, I believe in the zombie apocalypse, don't judge me, but when the zombie apocalypse comes, there's going to be a lot of people hiding those zombie bites. That's what I learned.
See, and to take this to a strange place, I also believe in the zombie apocalypse. And I tell people all the
Doesn't
time.
the CDC have that on their website? The zombie apocalypse.
I don't know. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole though. that was just the thing.
No. I was gonna say the running joke that we have in my family is that my child, she's the one that if you get bit, you can trust her to take you out. She ain't playing no games. She gonna be like, I love you, mommy. See you later. And she gonna do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
But I think that we do not realize how ableism shows up. I mean, just think about even in the way that we discussed Trump and Biden and Harris. Um, how many ableist terms were people using, mentioning diagnoses and things like that? Ableism is so pervasive.
Absolutely.
And if we don't do something about
Thank you
this
for the follow on
situation,
Twitch.
if we don't do something about this situation, we are absolutely going to, unfortunately, a group of us have effed around, and the unfortunate part is now to find out is a group project.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is, Ren.
Yes, it is.
So that's it, and I come back tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we can get on these block grants and about how
I need you here at the start, Ren, if you
Okay.
can, and then I will let you start with that because I know we talked about it yesterday. I would love to start there tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, because Senator Cornyn is out. Senator, I don't know. I don't know if he's a senator or a representative, but either way, he out of Texas. That should tell you everything you need to know. Yeah, it's not a great idea.
Yep. All right, Ren. Thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate you.
Good night.
No problem. Good night.
Jay, I know you had your hand up. I'm gonna come to you in a second. There was someone who was here who was a Trump supporter as well, and they were acting as if they wanted to come up. Guys, if there's a couple of people in the box right now, and I want to cycle more people in, but if there is a Trump supporter that wants to actually join the conversation as well, go ahead and request up. In the meantime, guys, keep tapping the screen. We're at 170,000 likes. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 200,000 likes. And also, guys, we still have $249 left in our nightly donation goal. So if you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And I have not heard Hawk say thank you to anyone this evening. So someone please make sure that we're hitting his pay links. I think the poll might have expired. Mods, can we get the poll running again for Hawk's pay links in the poll, please? With that being said, Jay, I know you had your hand up. Silver Cloud, I know you had your hand up. We still got to introduce Ty. Gina, I want to give you another chance to speak. So we're going to loop it all back around. But Jay, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I love that Ren and Hawk are in on the conversation. I think that ableism is still very prevalent as well. I think that mostly what we see as ableism now is systemic, like using slurs still, treating people with visible disabilities like they are incompetent, like they're below able-bodied people. I've seen it my whole life. And it's still very much a prevalent thing. I think that also the idea that disabled people are less than gives the right, and especially the Trump administration, ammo to further hurt the disabled community, because let's be real, we didn't get rights until the 70s, right? I mean, that was not that long ago. And I still think that we have a long ways to go. And I think that to be the best ally that you can be to the disabled community is to treat them like they're human. Don't dehumanize someone for a disability, whether it's visible or invisible. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think that's so important, and so I had a conversation with someone today that I respect tremendously, and the person was we were having a conversation around ableism, right? And I think that I think we've come a long way with understanding certain things and aspects that are ableist. But even more so, I think there's so much room to actually grow and learn and understand. Like there's a lot of things that we don't know, and I'll even speak for myself. I'm very ignorant of the plight of disabled people in a lot of ways, and then even things that um, I might have grown up because I'm almost 40. I'm 38 years old. Well, I'll be 38 years old. Um, yeah, I'll be 38 years old in 23 days. Golly. But there's a lot of things that growing up I would say or I would do or whatever, and I didn't realize that was ableism, right? But I think the older you get, the more that you learn, the more that you actually should be able to grow from that and be a better person. So I think there's a lot of room for a lot of growth and a lot of education, and that's one of the reasons why I was super excited about having this conversation. But I think you hit it dead on the head, Jay, with that. Real quick, guys. W's in the chat for Christopher. Christopher sent a $5 donation. Said, "Thanks for having me up. I'll be back tomorrow." Christopher, you're so amazing. Can't wait for you to get back here. I appreciate you for being a part of the community and also your donation, guys. That means there's $243 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. And also, again, don't forget about Hawk because he's been up here laboring all night and his gifts are low. I haven't heard him say thank you to anybody. Guys, let's make sure that we're appreciating Hawk in each and every way. Let's appreciate the panel as well. With that being said, Bushmaster, I see the flag flying. Does that mean that you're back and you're ready to speak?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, the floor is yours.
All right. I've been hearing a lot of talk. Like, I don't think we should forget. I'm kind of responding. I think it was Ren that said it.
Mm-hmm.
Something about we should forget the other kids. No, I don't think you should forget your kids. Like my daughter's mother forgot her, and I think
No.
parents should
I think you might have misheard what she was saying. She was saying that do you don't forget the other kids. She was speaking about how like when you were speaking to your kids being in a good position and then making A's and things like that, and so she was just really speaking on making sure it's not just about like your kids or my kids or whatever, but like all kids.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like parents should step up. Parents should step up and take care of their kids. I don't like. I like I said, I'm a single dad. I don't even get child support. I don't want it. If she's gonna help me, she's gonna help me. If she ain't, then that's fine. But it's got you want to see her, you gonna make effort to come see her and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna take care of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what the government does. I'm not going to the government. I don't need the government. I don't want them.
But hold on a second, Bushmaster. That last part, and I'm going to say a word, don't take offense. That last part is you speaking from privilege, right? You don't need it, but there are people that do need it. That's the issue. There are people who have children with disabilities, and that's difficult to deal with. So if the government is not there to support them with these different programs that we've been discussing all evening, then they're going to struggle and those children will suffer. So you don't need it, but a lot of people do, and we have to think about them, and that's what Ren was discussing.
I think that parents are more than capable of doing it without the government. I think that they would be better at it than the government. And the reason I say that is because of my experiences with the government. Like with, can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead and finish.
So like my experience with the VA, like I was talking about, the bureaucrats, and they don't care like a mother and a father or a guardian or whatever would about the child. I mean, they just don't, because that connection that you have with your own child, or be it you're a guardian of this child, you build a connection with this child, you're going to find out, you're going to figure out things better than a random stranger that works for the government. I promise
Okay,
you.
so I'm gonna because you've tried to be pleasant this evening. I'm gonna split the difference with you, right?
You said try to be pleasant. He's been on his best behavior, Hawk. Come on now.
Well, then he needs a higher level of best behavior. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I know where he's coming from. But here's the issue that I think you're missing. And again, it sounds like it's coming from a place of privilege, and that's what's kind of bothering me, right? Because there are a lot of different issues, disabilities, afflictions that a child could have that parent might not know how to deal with. To the point that I'm going to agree with you, but that parents should be able to vehemently advocate for their children with the programs that exist to make sure that their kids are getting the best access to the best programs so that they can progress, right? But if those programs don't exist and that parent does not have the wherewithal, they're not a doctor, they're not a psychologist or whatever, that they could actually help their kids, they could love them all day long and twice on Sunday. If they don't have the skills to actually help whatever that disability is, there's nothing they can do. So we have to advocate for good programs to be able to support families in those situations. That's what we're talking about.
I was just about to say, I want to, Bushmaster, I didn't know if you want to say anything specifically to that, but I know there's people that have their hands up, but I wanted to hear from Gina, right? Because I know Gina's still here, and I think Gina might have an interesting perspective on that as well, because Bushmaster, I don't know if you heard Gina's story, but she is disabled, excuse me, but her daughter also is a veteran, and they're codependent on being able to actually support their. Well, you were. That's why you donated. But like, I would love to hear what Gina would have to say about that. But
Can I respond to that real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead, and then Gina,
So
I'm coming
yeah,
to
that's another reason I'm against those programs, because I believe people genuinely care, and you're gonna get more help from people that genuinely care and have money in their pocket, like within society. If they hear your story, they're gonna step up and help you out. And I believe that if we're giving that to the government, they're gonna put red tape up so you can't get that for whatever reason or purpose. And I just don't agree with that. I mean, within your own community, people are like, just a random person that you've never even met is going to step up and do what needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to get away from the government and stick to the people. I mean, that's just my personal belief. I think the government is just taking what they want and spending the money not the way it should be spent towards the people that they promised to spend the money toward.
Okay.
I think that's incredibly naive myself. I don't know of any private organizations, private people, or anything else that's just throwing money at people that need help. I don't know what you're talking about. That seems incredibly naive to me.
As a mother who has to rely on Social Security SSI for her daughter,
Yep.
who is got spina bifida, that's not true. I get more help from having, even with the red tape, having to go through the red tape to get my daughter's SSI every month. Then through that and Medicaid, than I did other people trying to help me out.
Yeah. And that's just, it's a whole thing. Let's do this because, well, first and foremost, welcome in Harry Raid. How are you guys? If you're new here, guys, tap the screen. Let's get the likes up to 200,000 likes. Also, share the live out. Let's get the shares up to 400 shares. Welcome in. We are having a conversation. One second. We're having a conversation around veterans and people with disability and how their life will look over these next 4 years under the Trump administration. So if you are someone that just came over in the Harry Raid and you are a veteran or you are someone that is disabled, and you want to join the conversation, get in the box. Or if you are a Trump supporter and you want to actually give a perspective of what you think life would be like, or have a conversation with people on the panel who fall in that category, get in the box. You can go ahead and request up. Also, guys, we still have $243 left on our nightly donation goal. So Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All of my pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. So if you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And we have my special guest, Hawk, up here. Hawk is up here. He is helping me run this specific... Thank you for the subscription. Hawk is helping me run this specific topic all week, so make sure that we are taking care of Hawk while he is on the panel. Make sure we're gifting the panel. With that being said, I want to come to Gina because, again, Gina, I want to hear what you have to say on what Bushmaster just said. I know Silver Saint, you had your hand up. Ty, I got to come to you. You had your hand up. Jay, I think I saw your hand. Let's get it all around.
Hand was up.
I'm sorry?
Unicorn's hand was up too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, everybody. So, Gina, I'm going to start with you.
So, Bushmaster, are you MAGA?
Oh, yes, he's
MAGA.
Yes, he's a Trump supporter.
I don't remember you and Santana going at it, but I got to thank you. And my views of MAGA, you've made a change right now, just for you. Because you're generous and you speak to calmly instead of yelling, which a lot of MAGAs do. I don't remember what you guys were talking about because I was kind of tuned it out a little bit. I had to take medication.
Okay.
But I got to say that as far as the benefits go, if I don't get Medicaid, I think I won't be able to live because I take a whole bunch of different medication, and one of them, just one of them, costs $389 a month. Just one of them. So if I don't get Medicaid and Medicare, you could say I won't be able to get up.
Yeah.
But thinking about all of that is being stressed like that is not good for a person's health. So I have to carry myself every day thinking, stay hopeful, stay hopeful. Things are going to be bad, but you can go through it. You can live through it. Because my daughter, it's also in need of help because she's a veteran and the VA doesn't. It's always a fight with the VA to go to the doctor, to go to the dentist, to get her glasses. Everything is a fight. She has to pull through every single time she goes to the VA. She comes back all stressed out because of the different changes in it and what they offer and what they don't offer that is needed. So everybody's going to be affected. We're all going to pull together, though. We all have to carry each other's back. And I'm going to stay hopeful.
Yeah.
For my mental health, which is my disability, I have to be hopeful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Gina. And Gina, thank you for coming up and spending time with us. I'm gonna swap you out now, okay, my friend?
Thank you very much, and you guys have a good night.
Gina, send me an inbox so we can connect, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Santana. Thank you very much.
All the coins I have, Miss Gina. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You as well. All right, let's whip it around the panel because, again, I know there's a lot of people who haven't gotten to speak in a while. Ty, then Silver Saint, then Unicorn, Jade, Danielle, and we'll just go from there.
Good evening, my friend.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so my pronouns are they, them, mostly. I don't actually really care all that much about pronouns for myself, but they, them is preferred. I What were all your questions again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What are your pronouns? You know what? You're. I'm so used to having you up here. That's why I didn't even ask the questions. But
I know.
what are your pronouns? Are you a part of the veteran community or the community with disabilities? And what is your expectation for those communities over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Yeah, so I am, how do I explain? I am a part of the disabled community, but I am also adjacent to the military community. Everything that happens in the military community directly affects me and my family because my wife is in the military and she's a transgender individual in the military. So of course that's really important to note. And I also want to bring up a conversation that I don't think you're going to cover, and that is directly related to these issues, which is specifically foster care. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I am a foster parent. I am also a kinship parent. I have custody of my cousin's child. And when we're talking about all of these government benefits that so many Trump supporters think that we need to get rid of, I think the group of people that they're forgetting to include are foster children who have literally no one else but the system to care for them. My children, all of my children, would not have insurance at all if it wasn't for the government providing Medicaid. Medicaid is the only insurance any of them have. I'm not allowed to put them on my own insurance unless I adopt them, and I can't adopt every child in Texas. So, and I also wanted to bring up, I feel like this also wraps into it as well. On top of that, several of the red states are trying to privatize foster care, which is leading to several of the states are now, it's incentivized to take children away from their families and give them up for adoption. So we're only going to see that particular system get worse. So if you're deleting Medicaid, you're increasing the amount of children that are in foster care, how are all of those children going to get medical care? And a large portion of kids that are in foster care, guess what else they are? Disabled. They're disabled. A lot of them are disabled. A lot of them are orphaned children of veterans. A lot of them are queer kids. These are all groups of people who need protection by our system and who need medical care through our system. And if they get rid of it, then they have nobody.
Right.
And so I wanted to bring that up to Bushmaster because, again, Bushmaster was talking about his daughter and how she's good and she's doing good in school and she's doing, she's doing good with her healthcare and all that stuff. And that's great. But the grand majority of kids in foster care require IEPs, not just because they have disabilities, but also because they have mental health issues due to the trauma associated with the reasons why they're in foster care. And so if we're getting rid of IEPs, again, we're affecting foster kids. So every single one of these things that we're talking about tonight directly affects foster kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're only thinking about your children that live in your house, then nobody is thinking about these children that live in no one's houses.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to swing around. I know we got a couple other people that want to talk, but Bushmaster, I want to give you a second to reply. But just an FYI to everyone on the panel. So I know we got the clock counting down. I just decided something that I want to do. So just an FYI for anyone talking, with that clock when it hits on the screen, when it hits 15 minutes, I'm going to make a quick announcement. So if I cut you off, that's why I want to actually say something at the 15-minute mark. But Bushmaster, before we swing it to the rest of the panel, did you want to reply to anything that Ty just said?
Yeah, I don't disagree that the kids in foster care go through a lot more than like my child, for example. I do depend on others because I am a single father. I do have my mother. I also have my sister who helps me. I don't know the situation of every single person, but I don't know. I think a community should come together. Like, I think we forgot that within this country. Like, used to, back when I was growing up, I'm 41. So when I was growing up, if your neighbor had trouble, your neighbor would come over and help you. Like, that, we used to do that, and it seems like we've gotten away from that. I don't know what's going on with that, but I think we need to get back to those roots.
You know what's funny about you saying that, because like I agree to a certain extent as well, right? I mean, like, community, we have to take care of each other, but Ty, darn it, I think it's because I didn't have any lemons, and so I didn't get to make my lemon water for this evening. I've been struggling. Mo, you took it right out of my mouth, but like Mo said, that's what our taxes are for, right? I mean, I do agree with you to a certain extent, but that's one of the reasons why we actually pay taxes, to be able to provide that additional support where needed, and we trust our government to allocate those funds in a beneficial way. So I kind of push back on that a little bit, but I get what you're saying. I'm gonna swing it around to Silver Saint. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I wanted to kind of come back and touch base with Bushmaster in something that Hawk had said earlier when we're looking at that privilege and what we're talking about when we're talking about privilege, because privilege is nothing more than the absence of barriers for an individual. When you have privilege, you don't have specific barriers that other people have. A good example of that is looking at the PACT Act. Everybody lauds the PACT Act as being, one of the best single most best piece of legislation written for the veteran community. Because if you have cancer, to include for women veterans, if you get breast cancer, then you have care, all of this amazing care with the PACT Act. But there was a barrier to getting coverage and to getting specific access to the PACT Act for women, because within the VA, you cannot receive a mammogram until the age of 55. And so even though the PACT Act was there, women did not have access to those things because we couldn't even get mammograms to determine whether we had it or not. And so there was another piece of legislation that was put into law, and it's Public Law number 117-133. It is the Dr. Kate Hendricks Thomas Service Act. This was written in honor of Dr. Kate Hendricks Thomas, who unfortunately was unalived because of breast cancer. And so realizing that there was that barrier for women to get access to the PACT Act and to the care provided by the PACT Act, we then had Biden sign into law the Service Act. And that Service Act gave any woman who was exposed to a burn pit, or any person that was, access to mammograms to do that. And so when we're looking at privilege, it's not necessarily money that's going to help us. It's not necessarily coming together as a community to build up that's going to be important. It's understanding that there are barriers for some people, and that in order to get rid of those barriers, in order that we need to make sure that those things are in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Bushmaster, again, did you want to reply to that?
No response on that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, Kay, I don't know if you just saw this, but Kay, can you drop a here in the chat for me, please? Yeah. There's Kay. Kira, there's Kay. Jay, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So I was a kid who was on a 504 plan all throughout school. It was very beneficial to my education. It was a thing that helped me succeed in a school system that was built for and around kids who don't exactly look like me. So those things are put into place for kids like me to actually succeed at school. I feel like being a disabled person and having to deal with the school system, it's already a battle. But one thing that did help me was my 504 plan. When those things are put into place, I feel like we get a lot of ignorant comments from able-bodied people saying like, oh, you're just coddling them, you're just, making it easier for them. Yeah, it is to make my life easier because let's be so for real, I'm in a world where it's not built around me. It's built around the majority, which is able-bodied people, right? So when these things are put into place, it's to help us succeed. It's to help kids like me graduate. It's to help kids like me have accommodations at school. It's accommodations. It's not coddling. It's not treating me less than. It's things to be put into place for me to be able to succeed at school. And I am very, very appreciative of that. I dealt with a lot in school. I dealt with a lot.
1 second.
You're
I'm
good.
sorry. All right. 15-minute mark. So, hey, chat, real quick, and I'm going to let Jay get back to it. First and foremost, guys, keep tapping the screen. We're moving kind of slow with the taps. There's 200 and we're at 202,000 likes. Let's go ahead and get it up to 250,000 likes. Also, we still have $243 left in the nightly donation goal. So Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to actually support the live. And also make sure you take care of Hawk. I know, Hawk, you have an announcement, and I'm going to let you get that off as well. But this is what I just thought of. So I have some really exciting, cool news, right? And there's only three people that know this really exciting, cool news. I actually just got confirmation about it while we've been live. So with that being said, I have a subscription goal of 25 subscribers, but there's 433 people watching right now. So I'll make a deal with you guys. If we can get 10 new subscriptions that are not gifted subscriptions, meaning there has to be 10 people that are currently not subscribers that decide to subscribe on their own and get into the Discord. So not only do you have to subscribe, but you also have to get into the Discord, which is super easy to do because it's a part of the actual benefit information. So once you actually click on your subscription, you get the link and it gets you into the Discord. So not only do you get access to an amazing Discord with an amazing community, a lot of resources and great information, but you also get a fast pass through this panel for our late nights with Santana discussion. So if we're talking about any topic that you want to be a part of, subscribers get priority to get up on the panel, but you also get access to a lot of really cool emotes. But if we, by the end of this timer, if we can get 10 new subscribers and also those 10 new subscribers get in the Discord, tonight I'll drop some really, really big and exciting news. So that's the deal. 10 new subscribers that are not gifted that also get into the Discord by the time the actual clock ends. There's one. I will drop the information in the Discord tonight, sharing some massive news. With that being said, Hawk, I'm going to let you say your thank you. And then, Jay, I apologize. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, Holly sent $5, so please W to Holly. And I'm not sure if she's seeing this right, but she says for great co-hosting. How about that? W's to Holly.
Absolutely. You are a great co-host. W's to Holly. All right, guys, we only need 9 more subscribers before the clock hits 0. Jay, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so those things helped me, right? And, oh gosh, forgot what else I was going.
I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good. But I experienced a lot of oppression, I guess. Still at school, I was bullied a lot, and I was treated pretty badly by some of my classmates in school. But I heard Bush say that like he's a single dad, right? And my mom also was a single mom raising me. Again, in a world that was not built for me, and it was her first time learning as a mom too, right? And she put her feet into the sand and she figured it out. She figured it out and she raised me, and I think she did a hell of a good job raising me. But again, like, not all parents have the luxury of just doing it on their own. My mom relied on government programs. I'm now 20 and I still rely on SSI, and those things are very beneficial to my life. And also, even though I don't really love Western medicine, and healthcare in America is absolutely ridiculous right now, it saved my life. Kids like me need healthcare to survive. So that's all I wanted to say.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Jay. Guys, just an FYI, 6 more subscriptions, 6 more unique subscriptions. Not only do you have to subscribe, it can't be gifted. So 6 new subscriptions. You also have to get into the Discord. So for the 4 people that have already subscribed, we need to get you in the Discord. Bushmaster, did you want to respond to Jay?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, sorry you got picked on by those kids. They do that to my daughter, and she has no issues. So, kids can be ruthless and not understanding, and a lot of that falls on the parents. I think, personally, this is my personal opinion. But I have to talk to her quite a few times because there's kids that tell her she doesn't have a mother when she absolutely does. I'm just like, it's a lie. Just ignore it, move past it. If you need to talk more about it, we can sit down and talk about it, and then I'll guide her through how to deal with that issue. But I don't disagree that there are kids that need help or whatever their situation may be, the child. I think the parents need to step up and do more. Personally, I mean, that's my personal opinion. And that I know that's hard and that's difficult, especially in today's society with all the bills and whatever else they got going on outside this. So I could educate and help people a lot just myself, like how I've overcome a lot of obstacles, mostly financially. But that's because I'm a veteran. I did 9 years, 2 months in service. I was homeless in 2013. I was homeless, living in the bed of my truck.
Unhoused.
And what's that?
We say unhoused, my friend.
Oh, unhoused?
Yeah.
Is that like a TikTok verbiage or something?
It's more to it, but it's okay. Finish your story.
Oh, okay. So unhoused. I didn't know. My bad.
No, you're good.
Anyway, I've had to overcome a lot of obstacles in my life, and it ain't nothing from privilege. I promise you, ain't none of it privilege. I had to work my tail off. I work 86 hours a week to make sure that I can provide for my daughter, that I don't have to go to anybody else. I don't outside my family. Yeah, I have to go to my family to help with the care of her. But once she reaches an age where she can take care of herself, like and be home by herself and cook for herself and stuff like that, she'll probably be with me.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you for that, Bushmaster. Unicorn. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so my heart aches a bit when I hear the parents need to do more argument. And Bushmaster, I understand your argument for community, and I agree. Because it was community that when my mother was recently in the hospital, my neighbor took me to see her because I can't drive, Lyft is expensive, and I would still need a guide to get through an unfamiliar space. Yes, community is important. I was raised in a hereditarily blind family. My grandfather did help teach me Braille simultaneously while my Braille teacher was teaching me Braille through the county system. My parents, before the system could step up fully and get me my books on tape, because I went to school in the 90s and aughts, my parents read those books to me on tape over the summer while working full-time jobs. My mother homeschooled me through the second half of my 5th grade year when my vision crashed from visually impaired to blind. My parents had the expertise, my mother specifically had the expertise of lived experience and of growing up with a blind father who was the area's piano tuner, who did the pianos and reconstruction of pianos for the universities in the area and built a career that's unfathomable for when he grew up and being blind. But we still didn't have the expertise that is available from those who have gone to school and do continuing training. When I was in high school, one of my teachers violated my IEP in an incredibly egregious way that involved the school turning it on itself with hiring firing power. It was that bad. And the assignment in case that was discussed was so visually nightmarish that my Braille teacher, the person I met with, I had a class where I learned Braille and we did adaptive stuff because even with the tech and everything, there were still assignments like this one that were so unfathomably visual that she struggled to figure out how the hell we were going to adapt this. And she had been doing this for decades. So there are people with expertise who need to be involved. More to the point, I want to mention something really quick, and then I have another point. One issue of ableism is language, and I recognize the ubiquity of these synonym of blind with ignorant. It's incredibly harmful. It reaffirms the notion that blindness and developmental disability are inherently linked, and there are a lot of disorders in which that is true, but it causes very real harm because it reaffirms that. And yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up as a kind of a nitpick I have, that I understand the ubiquity of it and I'm not like jumping down people's throats for it, but I do generally caution that, so I wanted to bring that up. The other thing is, I mentioned that I found success in a career. I'm building a career, to be honest. I'm finishing my master's degree. And a lot of that wouldn't have been possible without the support of California Department of Rehabilitation. Words are hard tonight. I'm tired. Rehabilitation.
Words are hard for me every night, so.
I know, right? And I have a degree in them, too, soon. But although their involvement wasn't as great and won't be ongoing as it could have been, but the support of my university getting me through a biological anthropology, oh my God, lab, which was incredibly visual, and I fucking did it. And I'm 34. It's been a journey. It's been a hard journey and a complicated journey with a lot of stops and starts for a lot of different reasons. My mother and I are on mostly fixed incomes, except for I now earn money from teaching at my university, and tutoring at my university, and a tiny, tiny bit of private tutoring when the university is not open. that money, the Social Security I receive, which is a death benefit off of my father, and the fact that I can earn a little extra because I'm blind and the rules are different for blind people because it's expected that that's such a profound disability that you'll never be able to work or succeed or anything. It's problematic because Social Security was created in the post depression as centered around the idea of the capacity for disabled people to work, and we've never tweaked it in any meaningful way. Being able to receive that, my mother's retired, and being able to receive the support of my university and the doctoral institutions that I've applied to moving forward has made it so that I can succeed. And I'm not just living, I'm thriving. And it's still really hard, yeah. And things are harder, and I manage it, and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I don't even notice the ableism. My students did a wild Title IX violation on my second ever day of teaching a year ago. And I got attacked in a hallway regarding my vision, which was real special. And, ooh, that's a bad phrase too. I shouldn't use that. Anyway, my bad. But see, it's part of society. It's entrenched in us. And that, I didn't even realize how egregious that was. I was just ready to move on, duck my head and move on. And my department, like you said, Bushmaster, stepped up and acted as community even when the Title IX process failed, as it normally does. So I agree, community, but also expertise. And we don't have to be satisfied with surviving. Surviving's not enough. I'm not lesser because I have to go through all of these processes and work harder. I deserve to thrive when I've put in the effort.
Yeah, no,
and
absolutely.
I'll be hell-bent if someone's going to take this away from the people that come after me.
Absolutely.
So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Unicorn. So I would normally say give Bushmaster a chance to respond, but we are getting towards the end of the actual live, and I want to make sure I give Danielle an actual chance to speak. I know she hasn't got, or they haven't gotten much of opportunity to speak, and I kind of want to go around the panel just for a few more, just for anything else that anyone else has, but just also to remind everybody we will be doing this again tomorrow for the last night, so we can always pick this conversation back up. But Danielle, the floor is yours.
Well, again, I'm a parent of a disabled child.
Mm-hmm.
I see all my children have had my youngest has not had an official diagnosis yet, but we suspect autism and ADHD. But I had an IEP myself when I was growing up, because I have a learning disability. Now that I'm not in school, there's no helping me, because once you're out of school, you don't get any help. Because learning disability doesn't affect you once you got a job. But my daughter is in a wheelchair. Without help from the government, she wouldn't be able to go to school at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because they wouldn't put wheelchair ramps in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're getting there.
Yeah, Danielle, I thank you for sharing that, and I think that's the thing that that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't get right is, and again, like me being someone that's able-bodied and knowing that I've never had to deal with these things, I don't think about like, oh, is this place that I'm going to, is it wheelchair accessible? It's funny, so I don't know if Ren is still here. But the other night, Ren was on live, and I was listening to her speak, and she was, or someone was saying like, "Oh, this place is so amazing; it's great for vacation," and blah 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 blah. And then Ren was like, "Oh, is it wheelchair friendly?" And then the guy was like, "Oh, I don't know," even though he was there vacationing. And I stopped to think to myself, like, that's a question that I've never had to, think of. And I think a lot of people don't understand the actual things that people with disabilities have to go through, and just to have the same, quote unquote standard of living as us, and then the fact that we have not only a government, which I know what the government is, but I know what the government is supposed to be as well. But it's supposed to be for the people, right? By the people, for the people, and it's supposed to actually help take care of us and those people that are in need. And for anyone that to assume power and to actually want to break down those avenues that actually help create equality for a standard of living is absolutely insane. So thank you for sharing that, Danielle. I really appreciate you so much. I want to go around the board real quick and just kind of get any quick last words, and then Bushmaster, I got a quick question for you as well before I give you the floor. But we'll start with Jay. Jay, what do you have to say?
Also, I just wanted to add one more thing.
Also, Jay, can you just tell the people what your age is?
I'm 20.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Because I had someone saying, "Hey, how old is she?" And I was like, "No, we've already checked." Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I was born in 04. But I love that we are touching on verbiage pertaining to disabled people. One more thing that I really, really, really am tired of explaining to able-bodied people. Can we stop as a collective telling disabled people that they're strong for having a disability? Because I want you to tell me that I'm strong based off my personality. I don't want you to tell me that I'm strong based off of something that I was just born with. I was literally just dealt these cards and I gotta deal with it. I can't just sit here and feel bad for myself. I already have to deal with people around me that are inherently taught to feel bad for me. Don't feel bad for me, because I don't feel bad for me. My mom raised me to not feel bad for myself. Also, if I want help, I'll ask for help, but don't say that I'm strong just because I use a wheelchair every day. Lots of people in this world use wheelchairs every day. That's not what makes me strong. It makes me strong because of my personality and the person that I am.
Yeah, no, I get it. It irritates me when people just randomly come up to me and tell me I'm strong because I'm black. So I get it. No, I'm just messing with you, Jay. No, like that makes a lot of sense. And the one thing that you said that actually just really caught my ear seriously is that when you said like you don't need help, or you'll let someone know when you need help. I think that that's a thing, right? I think I told this story on here before, but there was I was in the gym one time, and there was a woman who she had to be maybe about like 90 pounds max, right? And I was lifting weights, and I saw her, she had like a 25-pound plate, and she was getting ready to try to re-rack the plate, and it was like super heavy, and I had my music playing, and I was like, well, I'm close. Let me just grab this weight and help her out, right? And so I was trying to like grab the weight and re-rack it for her because it seemed heavy, and she was just so tiny. And then like she was saying something and I couldn't hear, and I had to take my headphones off, and she was like, no, don't do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Okay. And then so she re-racked the weight, and then I came back and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't mean to insult you in any way. I was just trying to, be polite and be helpful. And she was like, no, it's not that. It's just people have been, quote unquote, trying to do for me my entire life. And I have the ability to actually do this. And I want to feel the achievement of being able to do these things on my own. I really appreciate you doing that. But I wanted to actually be able to re-rack the weight for myself. And I took a step back to say, I get it. And it was a reaction. But ever since then, I've been super mindful of just jumping in and doing anything without having a conversation with someone.
Right. Like when I was growing up, I would ask my mom, like, and she knew that I could do it too. I was like, "Can you please just do this for me, or can you please just help me with this?" And she would, her response every time would be like, "Nope, I've taught you how to do this. I know you know how to do it. So you're not getting any help in this house. I don't know what you're thinking, but you're not getting any help."
Mm-hmm.
Because she did not do that to be mean or to be malicious. She did it because she knows that I am in a world that is able-bodied, and she did it for my own benefit. She did it to teach me that when I grow up and I'm actually like out of the house and on my own, she's not gonna be there to help me.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to help myself.
Yep.
And that's one thing that I advocate for younger kids with disabilities. Don't don't coddle them. They'll ask you for help if they need it. That is one thing that is, I feel like, low key ableism, is by helping them because you think you're doing a good deed, but you're really just dehumanizing that disabled person. Um, but yeah, like I'm a big girl. I can ask for help if I need it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Jay and Daniel. I'm gonna drop you both down. Thank you both for coming up. I hope you both join again tomorrow when we have night 3 of this conversation.
Thank you.
Hey, Kay.
Good evening. I wanted to make as a parent, a plea to other parents, since we are talking about verbiage. Can we stop referring to our children as disabled children and refer to them as children with disabilities? Or moving forward, just in general, people with a disability. Because a disability does not define the person. Being disabled does not define a person. And this is like verbiage that keeps going. And it's kind of like if you have a child that's in the queer community and you say, well, I have a, lesbian daughter. Well, how about your daughter and then is lesbian instead of the disability thing coming first? We don't need like the warning. It's kind of just the additive. And I've seen it a lot tonight. I've heard it a lot tonight with the parents who have spoken. And I'm just, when we are talking about ableism and we're talking about verbiage, it's very important that we make sure that we are, not dehumanizing people. And that we're being accountable for what we say and how we say it and what's important. And that's why when everyone else is finished, I'd like to take the question that we have for Bushmaster because I want to make sure that he's here in good faith.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Kay. Thank you for that correction. And, I even noticed something, so I'm going to make that update and that change myself and try to make sure that I'm using the correct verbiage. It's interesting to me, and like Kay, you know me. I try, but I'm really happy that you and other people are here to correct us and make sure that when you know better, you do better, and just always trying to do better. So, Silver Saint, any last thoughts for you for the evening?
Yes, thank you. And I love that verbiage too. I was just sitting here thinking while you guys were talking about that, as a veteran with disability, I love centering as a veteran and not putting the emphasis on the disability. So I think that's going to change a lot of my verbiage because I do a lot of advocacy work and a lot of talking, not just here on TikTok, but out in public on veterans' rights, on a lot of the bills and things being proposed for veteran services. And things like that. And so I think doing a person-centered is better.
And for anybody, I know I gave a lot of stats and talked about a lot of bills. For all of the stats and bills and things that I do talk about, my sources are all in my link tree. And the last one that I wanted to bring light to was our non-citizen veterans. We have non-citizen combat veterans that have been deported out of our country that no longer have access to care, access to VA benefits. In Mexico, there is an organization that has put together housing for our undocumented veterans, not undocumented, that's crazy, non-citizen veterans that have been deported. It's a place called the Bunker. The legislation that's being put forward for that is Repatriate Our Patriots Act, and there's not been a lot of movement on that. But when we look at the barrier for these veterans and access to care, and again, we are talking very specifically about combat veterans who have tours overseas in combat zones. When we're looking at their access to care in our federal and state prison currently, the majority of our citizen veterans that are currently serving time are there for substance trafficking. The second largest percent, there's 25% that are there for crimes of SA in federal and state prison currently. They have greater access to care than and access to benefits and things like that than our non-citizen veterans that have been deported. They and their family members have a great need to be brought back to the United States to have and gain that access to care.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Silver Saint, and also thank you to Witchy Nanner. Oh, I got a raid. Carbon, thank you for the raid. Holy smokes. 107 viewers. Guys, that is awesome. Thank you for the raid over on TikTok, Carbon. I appreciate you. Silver Saint, thank you so much for that information. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to drop you down, and please feel free to come back tomorrow. Welcome all the new Twitch people. W's in the chat for Phil for the subscription. Thank you. Ty, what do you, any closing thoughts for you?
Yeah, I've got a few. So earlier I was focusing on foster children, and that's definitely something that's really near and dear to my heart. Well, speaking of what Kay was saying, kids in foster care. But in addition to that, as a disabled person, I do want to leave some parting thoughts with the people in the chat, since we're talking about how important verbiage is, and specifically talking about parents and how they talk about their children with disabilities, that I'm autistic and I also have ADHD. And first I want to say, stop telling people, well, you don't seem autistic, you don't seem ADHD, because ADHD and autism don't have a specific look. There are many ways for autism and ADHD to present, and you're just looking ignorant when you say that. So, you know, if somebody says that they have autism or ADHD, maybe just leave them alone and say, okay, I don't. So there's that. And then in addition to that, when we're talking about our children, it's important to note that specifically there is a autism parent society thing that has the puzzle piece picture. The grand majority of the autistic community has rejected that symbolism because it implies that people with autism are missing a piece, and we're not missing anything. We are whole, entire people. We're just different. And in addition to that, I want to encourage people to not forget that it's not just foster parents and kinship care and people who are looking to adopt who can help children in foster care. In addition to all of those people, you can volunteer for CASA as a child advocate. You can volunteer as a mentor for children in foster care. You can apply to be a part of a child support team. All of those things are things that you can do to support that community. So if you're actually really legitimately looking to be a part of the community that helps children in foster care, those are ways that you can help if you can't help by adopting or fostering. And also, you can vote for people who aren't going to get rid of their Medicaid.
That part. Thank you so much, Ty. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you, Santana. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Last but not least, Bushmaster. Bushmaster, how are you?
I'm good. I've been listening.
Good. So Bushmaster, I'm gonna let you go first and share whatever final thoughts that you had, and then I had a question for you.
Oh, I thought you was gonna ask the question first.
No. You first. You've been up
Okay.
here. You've been engaging and polite and everything. So I'm giving you the floor first, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get rid of Medicare. That's not in the agenda 47 that I read. But anyway, yeah, I still feel like the parents need to step up more. I mean, now the ones that don't have parents or whatever, like a single mom or a single dad, like in my case, maybe they might need some help. I don't have a problem with that. Like every now and then somebody needs a hand up. I don't have a problem with that. But as long as they're not like stuck on it and never trying to find a way out of it to better it for themselves as well as their kids, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like I started out in 2013. I was making minimum wage, just trying to being homeless. Just trying to make
Unhoused, my
it.
friend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unhoused. Sorry, I forgot. I got a bad memory. That's the TBI. But anyway, now I work 84 hours a week. I travel all over the country, because that my job requires it. It's not a office job or anything like that. It's hard labor, and I don't know. I deal with it the best I can, and now I do have family support, and I think that's what we need to get back to too. Family support. Having that support from your family is absolutely essential, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You need that in today's society, because I can tell you numerous times, if it wasn't for my mother, I wouldn't have known what the heck I was going to do.
Yeah. No. Listen, I do think there's been some good conversation, and I think that there's a lot to be said because there is a certain sense of community that is needed, right? That's why I love what I do here with late nights, because of the actual community. But at the same time, I'm a big believer in social safety nets and being able to actually lift all boats, right? And not just saying that, well, you need to grab your bootstraps or we need to just be taking care of each other. Like, yeah, we do pay these taxes for a specific reason and all this other stuff. But I appreciate you engaging in this overall conversation. It's been good on the panel. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate all the stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely, I've learned a little bit tonight. So.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, I do have a question for you. And it's kind of a good faith question, right? So this was brought to my attention, and I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt. But there's been a couple of people who, after you told your story about, being a single dad and things along those lines, they specifically called out and said that you said that while you were on Alina's live, that your mother raises her and you send them money. And
my mother watches her while I'm at work. I work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So she can't stay with me because she's 9. So she can't stay by herself. Like I said, I travel all over the country.
Okay.
Like I live in Alabama, but like right now I'm in Delaware doing a job here, and then I just came from Florida working a job there. So I don't have, like, when I'm at work, I stay in a house that the company rents, and that's with other guys that I work with. I don't want my 9-year-old daughter with me. So I mean, that's out of the question. It's not gonna happen.
Okay. Kay, Hawk, any thoughts?
But when I go home on time off, I usually get like a week or two off.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's with me at my house when I'm home.
Got it.
Now I did have to go to a lawyer and set up a power of attorney so that my mother could take care of medical and educational things without me being present because I'm not there physically. Like if she needs to sign something, she can sign her name. I don't have to be there to sign off.
Got it. Okay.
Since she raised me and my brother and my sister, as a single mom, I trust her. I don't have no problem trusting her.
So, do you think that it's good faith to call yourself a single dad? Like, when in a live like this, when people are talking about, actually being a single parent, and you have a week or something off and you go home, but your child lives with another family member and you provide financially, but
that's
you think that's good faith to say that?
Yeah, absolutely it is, because if I was married, she would be with my spouse, right?
But you wouldn't be saying that you were a single dad.
Well, then I would be married. I wouldn't be a single dad, right?
Yeah. It's very disingenuous, especially because of what you said specifically on Alina's live about how you would rather, send money than be there for Christmas. And things like that.
I said I would rather be here making the money that I'm making now, because I'm currently grossing. Last week I grossed $9,600.
Which is fantastic. Do you think your 9-year-old cares how much you grossed last week? I'm saying
sure she don't, but
I'm sure she doesn't either. What I'm getting at is that you're being disingenuous. You do this from panel to panel, and as much as you want to try to, quantify that, you make this money or whatever, the only thing I've heard out of you from tonight is with the exception of a donation to make yourself look and appear to be a good person, which, who knows, maybe when you're off this app you're a different person, but when you're on this app you're not a very good person. And except that, all I've heard is I, me, and your situation, your daughter, and to hell with pretty much everybody else. So I think it was important to bring it up because you have been in other spaces. You call yourself a single father. A single father doesn't leave his child for months or weeks at a time and have his mother have the ability to do that. If you're a single parent, there is work to be done, and it's not just financially supporting.
Oh, so I should go home, be with my daughter, and depend on the government.
Nope.
See what I'm saying? That's exactly the mentality I've been talking about right here tonight.
First of all,
Bushmaster, that's absolutely what. Excuse me, sir.
Hold on.
That's absolutely what you just said to me.
Wait,
one
second, Bushmaster.
Excuse me.
Hold on 1 second, Bushmaster. I think that that you might have, like, I get how you're feeling, right? Because it's I wouldn't say
telling me I'm a man, I'm doing it wrong.
Right, I hear you, but like
I'm doing it wrong.
1 second,
My job. I never
Bushmaster.
said anything about you being a man.
Just slow down for a second and just kind of try to understand what's being said, because no one's like saying that, oh, you're doing it wrong. We're just trying to actually provide you with a thought process, and then also like what you're actually saying, because like I hear you, but
let me ask you this before you go any further. Let me ask all of you this. Do you think I would rather be here or be with my daughter?
I don't know.
Based on the things that you've said, it sounds like you'd rather be there. Now, I don't know if that's true, but based on the words that are coming out of your mouth, it sounds like you'd rather be there because you think that money is the answer to every problem, and there you're making money.
Okay, so I don't need to pay taxes anymore, and y'all don't need that money for those professionals anymore, right?
That is not, see, this is the thing, dude. Do me a favor. Don't crash out on me. Try to hear
I'm
this,
not
right?
crashing
Because
out. I'm listening.
well, you're not listening, you're over talking, but give me a second, right? Because I think you want to get it, you just can't see it. That's what I've been listening to all night, right? Because you're saying some right things, but then you immediately contradict yourself, right? And like the point that Kay just brought up is what you're doing with your mother is understandable. We all get that, right? But that's exactly what you said you didn't want from your daughter's mother. You like, she don't send no money and I don't want no money, right? But then that's what you're doing. You're on the road doing whatever you have to do and you're just sending money. So make that make sense. So you're contradicting yourself. The other issue that you've been missing from everybody that was on this panel tonight is you're looking at it from the perspective of, I'm a man, I'm going to do this, I can do that, I don't need nobody else, blah, 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 blah. But everybody does not have that, right? Some people are 100% alone. They don't have parents to help them. They don't have extended family to help them. They have themselves and that's it.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I think we need to get back to family.
I just said everybody does not have that family.
Sure.
Right? And
That's why we need
communities
to get
today,
back to that.
and communities, there is no getting back to that, sir. We don't know why people don't have a family. Maybe their parents were older and they passed away when the child was young or whatever, and they don't have a family. They just have
family's
themselves.
not always blood. Wouldn't you agree?
That's also true. And in today's community, most people don't know who their neighbor is, let alone the community at large, right? Churches aren't these big charitable organizations that are helping everybody in the community and whatnot like they used to in the past or whatever. It's today, and you have to understand it's today. And also, by the way, from a national standpoint, the government has a responsibility to take care of its population. Right? And Santana spoke to this earlier. That's part of what we pay taxes for, right? It's in the damn Constitution, right? They have a responsibility to take care of those of us that can't take care of ourselves. You're missing
they
all
don't.
of that. Yes, they do.
That was not the purpose or the intention of the government.
Look, common sense tells us all that everyone can't take care of themselves. There are going to be those people that, for whatever reason, can't take care of things themselves. Be that a disability, be that whatever that it is or whatever. The government has a responsibility in those instances to assist those people.
No, I disagree.
Well, you'd be wrong. And that's part of your problem. You have blinders on that you can't see that, right? Because that same statement that you're making about community, the government, the national government, is the community of the entire nation, right? Community isn't just the block that you live on, or the subdivision that you live in, or the city that you live in, or the state that you live in. Community is our entire country. We're all United States citizens, and the government has a responsibility to make sure that we're taken care of and that we can have prosperity for ourselves and for our children. Those words are literally in the Constitution.
So you would agree that we need a border wall then?
No, I do not.
Why not?
What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Because you said the government, which is for the United States.
Bushmaster, can you stop? Because
No, that's an absolute fact. Wouldn't you agree?
No, because I don't believe in arbitrary lines drawn on a map, and this land isn't ours anymore.
Arbitrary lines. Okay. So
Bushmaster,
we should.
I'm asking you to be quiet for a second.
Also, just FYI,
Y'all saying I'm not getting it, but you don't want me to ask questions. How
Wait,
am I
but
supposed to get it if I don't
just
ask
an
questions?
FYI.
I answered your question.
Wait, just an FYI. Donald Trump apparently doesn't believe in arbitrary lines drawn on the map either. He literally just said that today, when talking about the quote unquote line that separates Canada and the United States. Anyway, Kay, go ahead.
My point was, one, we're in drastic overtime for no reason because this was disingenuous to begin with. Well, I would choose your words a little bit better, Bushmaster. I would say that you if you have custody and your mother doesn't, because the way you had told
It's
it
not
before was
no
that
if, it's written down on a court document signed by a judge. I have sole
okay.
custody.
So
If I want to
so
go right now and pick my daughter up, I can go get her. Absolutely.
okay,
And nothing or no one will stop me. Period.
Bushmaster, stop over talking me.
Well, don't assume.
Hey,
I
hey,
said,
Bushmaster.
if you have custody of your daughter and you are then, yes, a single father, but when you come on alive, you should be genuine and say, however, my mother takes care of her most of the time,
I
because
have
you've
said
left
that.
your mom as a single mom again, and you're still
No, I
claiming to
didn't
be a
leave.
single
I
father.
didn't leave
Why are you still talking when I am in the
because
middle of a
you're making
sentence?
Hey,
assumptions that are
Bushmaster.
not
Okay,
true.
wait.
There's no
Seriously.
assumptions.
Hold on
You've
1
said
second. Let
it.
her finish speaking, Bushmaster. Sorry. Go ahead, Kay.
We're talking to you, and the reason we left this for last was because the rest of the conversation seemed genuine. You talked, you listened, all of that. But this is kind of the thing that is irritating when people join lives and then, claim to be one thing and then not. And as somebody who is, well, with grown children, so it doesn't matter at this point, but was an actual single parent, there's a lot more to parenting than just bringing in financial resources. So I understand that it is not ideal for you to have to be far away, but I'm sure that if you wanted to be closer, that you could make those arrangements and do that.
Yeah,
And no, I never said
I
I
think that's
never said you
absolute.
should take money from the government or move home or quit your job. Never said any of those things.
No, I have to travel for work. I mean, I can't avoid that right now until, well, I don't know, with the TCJA being, the way it is right now, they're starting to pay people more. I might be able to get a job closer to home and actually be home. As long as these tax cuts, like he keeps doing, happen, I might be able to go home. But y'all don't think about that. Y'all don't care about that. Y'all just want us to pay more taxes and depend on the government. I don't want the government. I want to do it the
Bushmaster,
way
I
I
know you
want to
don't
do it.
know me. I know you don't know me, but
And
I'm
I've
part of the.
needed.
I'm part.
Bushmaster, stop talking for a second.
So I
I'm
was
part
still
of.
talking though.
Hey,
But I know
Bushmaster.
that you don't know me.
So I'll mute and let me know when I got my time.
You know what? It's good. Never mind.
No, go ahead,
He's
Kay.
not
The
listening.
floor is yours.
I just what I'm he keeps putting words in my mouth and it's starting to get irritating. And what I'm saying is nobody said for him to collect money from the government. No one said to do any of that. And for your information, I'm part of the tax bracket that doesn't get any help. So I don't care what it is that makes it that you can go home. Like if you want to be near your daughter, you will make it so that happens. But you seem fixated on money. So if I have to pay more for taxes, then I have to pay more. It doesn't matter to me. If it means that I can help other people, that's what it's for. End of story. The world does not revolve around me. It's for everybody. And that's one thing that you seem to be missing out on. Have a
And
good night.
just thank you, Kay. You as well. Also, Bushmaster, just a FYI, they're on your head over here on the Twitch side. They're calling you out. I don't know if you can see the chat on the screen, but they're making it
Yeah,
known.
the chat here is getting on them. And here's the thing. I gotta say this because it's been running through my head for a few minutes because everybody in the chat is saying the same. It's very similar to what Kay just said. I was a divorced father, Bushmaster, and my ex took my son out of state. Every second that I could, I either went to him or brought him to me. I even manipulated my job to send me to where he was or whatever so I could be near him and do my job. I spent every waking moment doing my best to be close to my son, right? because that was the issue. The money wasn't the issue. The job itself wasn't the issue. It was being able to be with my son and help raise my son. Right? So the issue that everybody is trying to get you to understand is you're looking at this from the wrong perspective, right? Nobody's talking about taxes or anything else. We're talking about doing the most that you can. What you're missing is the most that you can is more than a lot of other people can even do, right? So if those people have to rely on assistance from whomever, the community, the government, whatever, then so be it. As long as everyone is getting help and everyone is being taken care of. That's the part that you seem to be missing.
You know what's amazing to me? This whole time we've been conversating, men have been preaching this for probably since the 1800s at the very least, because that's how long my industry has been around. The industry in which I'm in is the dredging industry. And what really amazes me is her mother hasn't stepped up not one freaking time for our kid. Not once. That's even when we were together. I was everything that she needed or our daughter needed, I provided it.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Hold on. Let me
that's
finish.
a whole separate conversation.
No, it ain't.
It
ain't.
is.
It's the same conversation because it's the same individuals. What are you talking about? Don't sit here and try to patronize me, sir.
I'm not, first of all, I'm not patronizing you. What I'm trying to tell you is
You're
the
talking
last
down to
statement
me
that I
like
am not
I
talking
can't
down to you.
manipulate. No, you just explained your privilege to me, how you manipulated the people you work for, and I can't manipulate them.
I bet you could if you wanted to. There are no dredging jobs. Hold on a second.
Travel to
Hold on a
bodies of
second.
water,
Hold
man.
on a second. There are no dredging jobs anywhere in the state where your daughter resides.
And let y'all talk because I did interrupt a few times, and now I can't even get my point out or my
But
point
no,
across.
you accused me of something, so I'm answering you by asking a question, right? My point is the manipulation.
And that's what I was doing. I was asking a question.
And I'm answering it. The manipulation that I did, right, was get my job to send me to areas as close to my son as possible. I didn't stop doing my job. Hold on a second. I didn't stop doing my job. I didn't stop having to travel for my job. I simply got my job to send me as close to my son as possible, as often as possible. So you're telling me that there are no dredging jobs anywhere near where your daughter is?
Yeah, not with this company. And look, when I first started with this company back in 2013, when I was fucking homeless, I was moving from 6 different companies every year. I would bounce around because I couldn't get along with the supervisor. They would lie on me. They would, whatever. They didn't like me because I'm short or whatever. I mean, there was so many different things that happened and took place. It wasn't privilege. It was the fact I constantly look for work. I've talked to people and connect with people. That's what gets me where I got to go and what I got to do. Now, the opportunities that are put in front of me, I take advantage of it if I can. If I could be home with my daughter, absolutely. The best way to get there is Donald J. Trump. I don't care what nobody says.
Oh, that's
the best way to get me home.
That's the most
the
wrong
reason
thing
I know that,
said.
the reason I know that is because I told you earlier and you don't listen. I work 84 hours a week, right? Minimum. Right now I'm working about 86, 87. And that no taxes on overtime, the taxes that come out, it was ridiculous. At $3,000 in a week.
Okay,
a week.
hold on, Bushmaster.
I'll pay. Hold on. No, I'm gonna finish.
No, Bushmaster, you're gonna take a break for a moment.
You're
gonna take a break for a moment.
We got to bring the. Hold on, listen, seriously, Bushmaster, we got to bring the temperature down just for the simple fact that there's other factors. So let's just bring it down a little bit.
I understand the other factors.
No, not that. But
that'll pay off my bills, and I'm paying for 2 vehicles and a house.
As I was saying, we are long into overtime, and now we're bringing up overtime, which he won't ever have access to again. I think we need to call it
because he just keeps changing
he's
the
not
subject,
wanting
and that's
to
gonna drag it
listen.
out.
It's just the responding thing.
No,
So-
it's not like y'all ain't listening to me.
Okay.
That's the point.
I am
And
listening
that's
to you,
why
Bushmaster.
that's why
Bushmaster,
Donald
stop for a
J.
second.
Trump won
Bushmaster,
the
just
election
stop.
right
Bushmaster,
there.
stop. What I'm saying is, in these lengthy explanations that you're giving us, you're hitting 5, 6, 7 other topics. We're not going to stay on here all night to discuss all of those topics, right? You obviously didn't get what it was we were trying to give you tonight or whatever. Unfortunately, that's your loss or whatever. I hope things work out for you, but I don't think they will.
Oh, they're gonna work out. Donald J.
Bushman.
Trump's gonna be inaugurated January 20th, just like the Constitution says.
I didn't
I'm
get to say
tired.
bye.
I'm sorry.
I hear you. It's all good, Kay. Kay, any last words?
No. Have a good night.
You as well. Hawk.
Yes, sir.
What do you have for the people?
It was gonna be for him, but he wouldn't get it whether he's still here or not. So
yeah.
Slow night. I think the conversation overall was good. But it was a slower night than last night. So hopefully we can get the momentum back for tomorrow and end this thing on a very high note or whatever.
You know what? The second night is always kind of slow for some reason.
Yeah, it's like it dips.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think we can do that though. I think we can bring it back tomorrow and end on a high note or whatever. The good thing about tonight is everything that I saw in the chat, everybody else was understanding what was being said, and that's a good thing.
Listen, Hawk, I don't know if you can see like the chat on the screen. That's the chat from Twitch. Well, Twitch and YouTube. What up, Twitch? Boy, they've been on his head over there. Holy smokes. Twitch, I didn't know that y'all didn't play no games like that. TikTok chat, y'all better step it up because Twitch is about it. Like Twitch is over there. Like there's do you guys see this chat on the screen? They are on it. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hawk.
Yeah, I there's no way I can see that without some magnifying glasses or binoculars or something. Gee whiz. I see a box, but that's about it.
Yeah. Hey, Hawk, did you when you took your first school picture, was it one of those cameras with like the exploding light bulb on top of it?
See, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to get yourself in trouble.
Anyway, no, it was good. It was good. Outside of what happened at the end, I mean, I do appreciate though Bushmaster seriously at least being up here and not crashing out and trying to engage in the conversation. So hopefully we can get more people tomorrow that actually engage more in the conversation. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Somebody said respect your elders. Yeah.
There you go. Tell them again.
Hawk so old we don't call him an elder, we call him an ancestor. Anyway.
See.
All right, let's get out of here. Guys, thank you for tonight. You guys are amazing. You guys have been great. Hold on 1 second. Robin, the boxes are closed, but I'm gonna bring you up for a second anyway, just because I enjoy Robin. We'll get you up here real quick, Robin. I don't see I don't see your request. Where are you, Robin? Real quick, like real quick.
My bad.
There we go. Real quick. Hey, Robin.
I came up to say, watch your mouth.
Wait a minute, Robin. I did not bring you up to scold me.
Years old. I am 54.
Yeah,
you
but
watch your elders. You hear me?
Robin, Hawk is like 154 though.
You're gonna leave Hawk alone.
Robin,
look,
on top of you coming up here to defend me, which is a beautiful thing, your last name is the street that I grew up on as a kid.
Oh my gosh, where did you grow up?
That blew my mind.
What city are you from?
Chicago.
I'm in Chicago.
That is
of
ridiculous.
Of course you grew up on Eggleston.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yes. Southside, southbound.
In the wood, that's right. Inglewood.
Auburn Gresham.
W's in the chat. So, Robin, someone just sent you a subscription. W's in the
That's
chat. Whoever
so
just sent the
sweet. Thank
subscription.
you. I
There you go.
appreciate you.
Also, W's in the chat for Phil. Phil sent out a bunch of subscriptions. Also, guys, I think I fixed the link because I know certain people saying they couldn't get into the Discord with the benefits thing. I refreshed it, so somebody try it and let me know if you can get it. But okay. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. We're way
Yep,
over.
I want you to go get rest.
Yeah.
I'm going over to Slam Williams live with Isaiah. I just want to stop by, tell you that I love you guys. I love what you do.
Absolutely love you
And
more,
keep
Robin.
cooking. Keep cooking. I had to cook somebody at 4:00 in the morning.
Ain't no way, Robin.
I was asking, like, what are we doing up talking about this? But since I'm here, let me cook and then let me go.
Sometimes you have to. Robin, Hawk, chat. Did you guys see the video that I posted today?
No,
I did.
What
Oh, Hawk, you didn't see it?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna go look
check it
for
out.
it.
Hold on,
I'm
let me real quick. Let me just at least. I know we're over, guys. I know we're over. Everybody go check out the video, but I'm just gonna play a few
Just blame
seconds.
it on me.
I'm gonna
Blame it
play a
on
few.
me.
I can't put it on the thing, but I'm gonna play a few seconds. So I hopped up on Parker's live the other night.
And
Listen
I
to
think
this.
it's Mook Amos or
I
Amos.
did see
Mook
that.
or
I
something
did
like
see that.
Listen, guys, listen.
Yeah, so again, what you're not understanding. I understand. I care about the women's rights and everything. I do. LGBT rights and everything. Do you care more about getting a little bit of more money, or do you care more about people's rights? Look, my day, I could be off this earth tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? No one would want that to happen. No. I'm saying, look, here's the thing. I'm from the trenches, if that makes sense to you, right? Where a lot of shit, like, you're not promised tomorrow. But here's the thing. I understand Trump's president. Like, I've been fucked up with the government for the last 10 years, right? And nothing, I repeat, nothing. No, yeah, you didn't. I can't do this one. Hey, look, dude. Why not? Not gonna lie to you. I do not have the energy for this argument. Why? Santana. What's wrong? What about Santana? Look, I already know. You just brought a shark in here. Are you just like scared of Santana? Parker, it's not that. I don't have the energy to argue with Santana because he's gonna fucking cook me. I'm not gonna lie. Parker, they have lived. I'm not gonna cook you, but Santana's gonna cook you. You know, I'm gonna mute up. Get him, Parker. Right. Jeez, bro. Are you like dissing me there? That's crazy. No. I'm not. No, you cool people. I fucks with you. I love you. But I'm just saying. Santana, he's a different type of breed. It's like he's impossible to you know, like, not prove right. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so then you should debate him. Talk to him. No. Parker's actually a way better debater than I am. Bullshit. No. I didn't say that. Well, it's not bullshit. I mean, I wouldn't say that's bullshit, but I mean, he might. I just have clever catchphrases.
Yeah, no, the guy came
How
up.
crash out.
Yeah, I came up on the panel and the guy immediately stopped talking and was like, "Nope, I'm done."
I'm done. That's what you do to people.
That was funny.
Look at Liam. Liam was one moment Liam is chasing you, the other moment Liam doesn't want you.
Liam will not talk to me anymore. Will not talk. He will not. He won't let me on his panel. Nothing. Nope. It's weird. Anyway, guys, we gotta get out of here. Guys, go check out the video. It was hilarious.
I gotta go check it out. Thank you guys for allowing me to come up on the platform. Santana, keep cooking. Hawk, keep cooking. Santana, watch your damn elders. You hear me?
I hear you.
Have a great night, and I
guys,
love
we'll
you.
figure out the Discord link. I love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. You're all amazing. And as always, Hawk, Robin, say it with me. Peace.